What's up, everybody? Can y'all hear me? Check, check, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2. We should be, because Tor is here too.
Howdy,
Surprise! And we tested everything. Yeah, actually, I shouldn't say everything. Let's see if my camera over here is going to work. Whoop. Let's see.
Hey,
Got to
Eli,
add our second camera in.
Maker Viking, William,
Let's
Derek, how are you
see.
guys doing?
Extra camera. And
Howdy, Scott.
oh, there it is. Let's see. Boom. All right. So we got our two cameras in here. I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is set to autofocus because we're going to need autofocus for the time being. Get my little fill light turned on here. So, all right. So today, if my camera would cooperate, I got to change that cable. I have another one somewhere. I think that cable's wearing out, the little micro HDMI. So we've got the brand new K1 here. Let me move my filament and other crap out of the way here. All right, so this printer was bought by us at the Micro Center. Look, it's even got the Micro Center little logo here. So apparently Angel G was the guy who sold this to me. So
Hey,
we picked this up. We picked this up for $78. Oh,
camera died.
Yeah, apparently. Let's see. Hang on. Extra camera. Come on. Is my whole system screwing up now?
Welcome, everybody. Oh, yeah, there goes your main cam.
Can you hear me still?
I can hear you.
Okay, so something's going on with my cam. Hang on. Let me restart the USB.
We swear everything was tested beforehand. We were sitting in a call for a bit.
I don't know, like 30 minutes or so. All right, let's see. Extra camera. Present.
Got my mom.
It's NVIDIA broadcast is screwing up with my cameras here.
What was I saying? I was saying I don't use it all the time because it does for.
Let's see. Hang on, I gotta change the camera. So it keeps going. It keeps trying. What it's doing is it's trying to grab the camera input, and it just freaks out when something else is using it. So, all right, we'll see. We're gonna see what we have now. I do know that there is a potential, and I think Derek Jensen said there's a high probability I got the old hot end extruder. Well, either way, whatever we get, we're going to give it an honest review. And unlike people who are reviewing the bamboo printers who are in their affiliate promotion program, I don't have to worry about getting dropped because we buy these with our own money. So I don't know if you guys know that, but Nathan Builds Robots got dropped from the bamboo insider program or whatever the hell it was because he had some criticisms of the unit, because you can't say anything bad about bamboo without them dropping you. So take that in mind when you guys are watching reviews of those printers. Now,
he actually bought his, so his review is going to be a lot more honest than everybody else.
Yeah. This I bought with my own money. This was not sent to us by any company, and even if it does, which is why we don't get sent many printers, we don't give the companies any power over what we do or don't say about the product. If the product is absolute dog shit, I will have no problem telling you it's absolute dog shit, because I also do not make my money off of affiliate sales like most of these other YouTubers. I make our money off of our store. So you guys buying stuff from us is how we're able to do stuff like this and to take a look. Oh, that's not sure. Take a look at these machines. So this is still sealed. I have not tampered with it. See? Still sealed, factory tape. And we're going to see how this goes. Now, I am actually pretty excited about this. And while this is not a Marlin-based machine, this is a Clipper-based machine. So Creality, bastardized Clipper. My goal from a software standpoint is going to be to get our own Clipper version out for this, because we want to get rid of all Creality's cloud crap, because I don't just dislike Bamboo and their cloud. I dislike all Chinese printer companies and their cloud, or any companies in general, and their cloud shit. So when it comes to printers anyways. So let's get into this. We got a lid here. We got some stickers and the installation guide. Let's see. I think, doesn't this come with Creality's cloud crap on it by default too?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
So the only reason I bought this is because I know there's a way to jailbreak it and get regular clipper on it. Because I did not want to be dealing with any Chinese cloud shit.
Cloud, yeah, cloud is just their servers.
Yeah, cloud is. Yeah, so my whole thing is, you guys got to remember, whenever you hear somebody say cloud, whatever, no matter who it is, cloud is just somebody else's computer. That's it. It's not anything magical. It's literally somebody else's computer. So I'm gonna try to pick this up from here.
Like, we've had the cloud before the cloud was a name.
Cloud, yeah. We self-host a lot of our stuff, and the rate things are going, we might even be switching over. Like, we use some cloud stuff for our internal company stuff. It's also backed up locally here on our server. But we've been moving more and more self-hosted on things because I care about my privacy and my company's privacy and my customers' privacy. So, this camera. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change the cable after this one. Okay. Now, I'm not going to be like Uncle Jesse and fling the door open and shatter it.
Oh, please no. That was funny to watch, though. I'm sorry, Uncle Jesse, if you ever see this, but that was hilarious.
I don't think he likes us too much anymore. I haven't really heard anything from him. He's left the whole Creality space. So, all right. Let's see what else is in here. All right, I'm going to look at their install guide. So I got stickers. They're putting stickers in there now. We got after sales service card. This is a fucking joke. So email addresses that we can email, and then they never give us any help. So they say 1 year warranty on everything, 3 months on the nozzle, the belt, and the glass. No warranty on the card reader, cards, wrench, pliers, scraper, knife, etc. So, yeah, all basic stuff. Yeah, so apparently you can get, please contact your local seller or contact us via email at cs@creality.com. We all know Creality's tech support's junk. All these Chinese companies' tech support is junk. If you want tech support, you're going to have to buy from a U.S. or European company. These Chinese companies don't care. All right. Let's go through the quick installation guide and see what's actually in here. So I'm assuming, okay, so they have unboxing steps. So we've already, let's see, let me move my camera here. So we already took all that stuff out. So take the machine out of the box. Got to take out the cord, take out the big block here. I'm assuming there's minimal stuff to do aside from just putting the filament in and taking the packing materials out. So, all right, there's 3 screws that we have to remove that look like it locks in the belts here. So there's 3, yeah, it looks like they're in belt position. Hey, Remo, stop, lay down. Being all pacey, drives me nuts. It was just OUT earlier, so. All right, so let's take the packing materials off.
It is a nice looking printer.
It is. I do dig it. Okay. You do the little peely. Open this up. Okay, we got the LCD mount. There's a cable down here. All right. I'm assuming there's stuff inside here. It feels like there's stuff inside. All right. So we got to take this out. That's just a holder. We got a protective film here. So it's saying please tear off Protective film use before applying power. Check that the 3 platform board fixing screws have been removed. Okay, so they're down here. Oh, they actually put little arrows on them. You see that?
Please remove these.
Yeah, there's little arrows. Okay, that's nice. So far the unboxing experience seems to be pretty decent. Yeah, looks good. Looks like we got some Gates belts on here. I'm assuming they are. They look like the Gates belts. All right, let me take the stuff off, the protective film off my plate here.
Hey, Sam.
There we go.
Welcome.
The magnet feels decent on this.
All
right, let's go ahead and take the screws out. So I'm assuming all the tools. Yeah, it is. It's got the little indexes on there. Okay, so here's the screen. So all the stuff was shoved inside here. So it looks like we got bigger feet for vibration dampening. I would assume that's what it looks like. That's a nice touch. The spool holder is on the back. I knew that. I think it's a stupid idea putting a spool holder on the back. That was one of the things I think that what's his face, Nathan Bill's robot script was talking about with bamboo, and they didn't like that. They give me the most Chinesium looking glue stick possible.
Is that faded?
No, I don't know. I'm going to use our bed cement. There's like a little no, it's like a gasket. I got to look at the manual and see. All right. Since this is more of a take it out of the box and use it type of printer, I am going to look at what their proper unboxing procedure is. All right, so we got to go ahead and remove those screws. Do they give us an Allen key? I'm assuming they do. I'm going through the box of stuff here. Yep. All right. What box did I get? The blue one? I don't know what you mean. Sam Prentice is in here. What's up?
Yeah, it says hi to me. Oh, I just smacked my head on the light.
Okay, I see the little screws down here. All right, that's a small one. All right. I do see a sticker on the screen that says make sure to select the voltage selector. See that? So it must have. I'm willing to bet it's probably got the same knockoff power supply their other printers are using. So the question is, how do you know if you have the old extruder or new one? Because it looks like mine. I remember something about like the metal versus plastic, and it looks like mine has the metal. Taking these screws out so I can get the bed up. I would say this does not feel like a Creality printer. Like this feels way more polished than anything else. And I see there's like a little connector here on the inside, right side of the panel. It almost looks like a USB connector based on the colors and the pins. Like right here, is this for like a camera hookup? I'm assuming. Oh yeah, there's a CA. Can't fully read it. No, it says cam. Oh yeah, so it's a little USB plug. I will not be hooking a camera up to this until I get all this stuff off here because I don't need any more things spying on me. Oh, really kind of paint. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a little $20 camera or so. $25.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So we took that out. I was supposed to put the screen in, but we can do that now. I'm going to take the screen out. Got a plug back here. Smells like fresh Chinesium. Okay.
That's fancy cable.
Yeah.
This is really not looking like a Creality machine.
Okay. And then goes on there. Okay. All right. So we got to pull this off. I
The
find it
latest
funny
extruder has a white collar.
a white collar. I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, either way, how crappy would that be if Microsoft was just closing out the printers at a steep price because they had that crappy model that had all sorts of issues?
It was probably out before the fix was out.
Okay.
I mean, most printers come out and have their issues. I'm just waiting for the A1 issues to start popping up.
Okay, so on the left side, we have our power switch here. Go ahead. There we go. And, oh, that is quite hard to see, but you can kind of see it. I can see it. And we'll get that in there.
Oh yeah, Tim, careful with the front door.
I got it with the 115 there. Well, we're moving it in a way. I was moving it, tilting it so the door would close. All right. So let's keep going. I'm going to peel the Creality cover off here. Peel this off too.
Even back in the day, their higher end machines didn't look much better than like the CR10 and Ender 3 they had at the time. They were enclosed, but they didn't look
all right
as good.
Well, we got to put the spool holder on, which goes in the back here. This is a horrible idea. I will be printing a mod that moves it over here. I already saw that. I haven't watched a ton of content on this printer intentionally. I'm just going through here. I think that's it. So got the screen installed, got the voltage switch selected, got this installed. It says to install the top cover. Oh, I got to take got some more plastic up here, or foam. Okay. Take the saran wrap off the top here.
Yeah, Tim, kiss the logo before you turn it on.
First
Day apprentice.
Is that if you don't, then it blows up? Okay, so they have a thing on here. When printing low temperature products or filaments, it tells you to take the top off, which is correct. But it told me to put it on, so we're going to put it on. It is like it's magnetically attached. Kind of.
I like this so much better than the 6.
So I'm actually missing magnets. There's a magnet missing here. That one's there. This one's not there, and yeah, so I'm missing magnets in my lid.
Did they pop out, or are they in the box somewhere?
I don't know. I mean, I guess that it like kind of snaps on. I guess that'll work. All right, I'm gonna put the little feetsies on it. Oh, we lift that up. I think I missed the mention about the putting the handle on the door. I will admit I have not been fully following the directions. All right. We got the feetsies on. Does it say to put the handle on the door?
Tape on the right side.
Huh?
Got a piece of tape on the right side. Thank you.
All right. It does not say to put the handle on the door. So
did they
I know
ever?
I know I saw. Oh, it's right
pictures?
here. It's right here. It is in the pictures, already installed, but I'm assuming this is. I can't get it open now.
It's now Tim proof.
I know, right? They do. There is a sticker here. Please install in the direction. Thank you. I will install in the direction. Okay, so there's like, okay. I will install in the direction. Also, keeping up with tradition, I'm pretty sure that this printer on the box still is afraid of wet. All right. Where's my little 2mm hex? These like plastic spacers they have for the hands come too. Okay. So the
Actually,
weird one
Jerry,
thing, the
yeah,
one thing
I
I
am
will
gonna-
notice is that like the smell of this printer smells way more like like an electronic appliance instead of like a printer. Like typically like
like the cheap plastic smell.
yeah, like you guys know what I mean? Like it sounds like a weird thing to comment on, but like it smells different. It smells more like I just opened up like a DVD player than a 3D printer. All right. Let's see. There we go. Okay, I do like how this looks. This is a sharp looking machine. All right. Let's see. What's the next step? I think that's it. Okay. They're gonna want me to connect. I should just spin up an isolated SSID to put this on the network because I do have a VLAN that's already internet only for that my one of my neighbors use. I could just spin up an SSID so it's got none of my personal crap on here because I don't trust the Chinese companies with their crap on my private network with access to all my IoT devices and my computers and shit. So they say so there's 3 different methods. You can scan the QR code with your mobile phone with Creality Cloud. I don't like that. You can also go to your computer, or you can open the machine and use the USB drive. And then we're going to do that. They're saying the USB drive might be outdated. Well, I'm going to use what came with the machine. All right, so where's the power plug? Back here.
If it's
All
running
right.
Pipper, I just want a nice, clean, fluid install. I don't want.
Yeah, that's going to be my goal is to get their software off here and make our own image for this. All right. I'm going to load up the filament. I'm actually going to go grab. So I hate their little rolls. Actually, I got a roll of our silver sitting here.
How much did they send? I didn't.
It's like a 250 gram. It looks like 200 gram. 200 gram. All right.
At least it's not the like vacuum sealed 50 gram whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna put this in.
Hi, a light source.
So we have.
Oh yeah, Tim, you need to kiss it. Do it for Sam.
All the way in. I will say the extruder is using a aluminum stepper on here. So it's dated 7/20 or 7/3/23. Either that or it's 3/7/23. I'm not sure. All right, I have a little lock thing on there. Filament went all the way in. Let's see. Okay. Oh, it even shows you on the screen here to remove these. We already did that. Welcome to Creality 3D printer. Please keep the blue cube in the diagram, clear debris, and click OK. Okay, well, there's nothing in there.
Clean. Keep the inside of the printer clean. Check.
Set up your network. Do I spin up an SSID really quick? It won't take me long. I just put one. What do you guys think? Should I connect it? Should I let it get here? We're just gonna make. I'm gonna make a network really quick that only has internet access, no access to anything else.
I'm assuming if it did send stuff back instantly, people would already have picked up on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna create a new network here.
No, you tripod. No, you. Thank you, Backwoods.
All right, I'm gonna put this on its own ice. I'm gonna put this on its own isolated one, and we're gonna only put it on my garage AP in here.
Connect it and Wireshark it, says Andrew.
All right, give me a sec. It is we'll have a new SSID in just a second on my isolated network. So I'm gonna go back. Oh, should I do a setup in Chinese?
But
All right, let's see. Okay. Where's my new SSID? Come on. Give me my new SSID. There it is. And the password is password.
thank you for becoming a member, Lightsource.
There we go. So we're connecting it to my Wi-Fi here.
I know, Eli, they send me Facebook requests all the time.
Did it not connect? Oh, it did. There you go. We are connected. Our wireless network is connected. Tor, do you see my SSID?
I do. We can read it loud and clear. Hey,
All
Pluto.
right. They don't have like. Oh my God, what are we like negative? We're CST. Like, why do we not have like the time zone names on here?
Think you're.
I think we're -6 or something like that, aren't we? It's either -6 or -5. We have DST screws or whatever. Please, yeah, we're not scanning this to bind. No, it's okay. All right, it's gonna. It says do not touch the printer. It's self-checking. Yeah, so I have a VLAN on my network that is literally just internet access. It can't talk to anything else, and that's what that SSID is on. I just turned it on my access point here through my Unify system. Oh, Tor, we have a call coming in. Okay, so it's checking everything right now. Input shaping. So it's going to go. Oh, it's going to go ahead and do its thing. All right, let's see. So I believe they have an ADXL on here, if memory serves correct. So I think it should start doing like the shaky back and forth and stuff. Oh wait, there was stuff underneath the bed. It's lowering the bed up and down. Let's see what's going on here. So they are using like load cells under the bed. I'm assuming they're using that for the leveling. Yeah, there's one on each corner. Gonna hit the nozzle, yep. So it's using the load cells. Now it's dancing. Well, let's do a little dance. We'll dance. Oh, it's dancing. I can see it moving ever so slightly. I can hear it. Sounds like it's going to explode. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera. I can't really, but it's like you can hear it doing stuff. It sounds so weird. It's like mrrr. Let's see. I'm gonna check chat while this is going. It's doing its input shaping calibration right now. The load cell doesn't like the chamber time to move at 50C for 20 hours. That's not that high. Let's see. There's some stuff people talking about the bamboo. If you guys want a device that is on your network, and apparently, according to Musketeers, just constantly logs all the sensors all the time, even when you're not printing. I even thought, I don't know if he like officially walked it back, but I did see comments about even if it's in LAN mode, apparently it still sends your file information up to their servers. So they're supposed to be releasing more information on that soon. I guess whatever group of people that decrypted the logs found a bunch of stuff that is supposedly pretty damning on there. So color me shocked. All right, so it just stopped making noise. I don't see it moving at all. Yeah, I don't care. So Pulo's a big fanboy of bamboo. I am not a fan of cloud connected printers. That's the only reason I got this one, which this one is cloud connected by default, is because you can take it over and reflash it. That's the only reason I picked one of these up. I don't trust it. Like, too many security issues these days, and I'm not going to entrust the security of my network to Chinese companies that we know they don't do things correctly. Like Creality has not been doing things correctly for years on printers that are, just offline, let alone printers that are online. So it's still sitting here, just doing input shaping. It says, like,
It's doing the little shaky.
it's not. I mean, I don't want to touch it. No, it's. I hear the noise again. I think it is doing stuff.
Yeah, it probably has an
Okay.
ADX. Don't
Okay,
touch. Did you touch it? Tim!
What?
Don't touch it while it's shaking.
It's not. It's barely even moving.
Yeah, it doesn't move a lot.
Oh, now it's getting real loud. Oh, it sounds like
it's ramping up through the frequencies.
Yeah, I hear that. No, I was making sure because, I was like, what the hell is it doing?
Yeah, it starts low and goes up. Now you're gonna have to rerun that, or it's gonna mess with your.
No, I was touching the side of the printer here to feel if it was vibrating. It does sound like it's gonna blow up. How funny it'd be if it just started smoking.
It wouldn't be the first Creality machine that has done that.
Let's see.
Yeah, what was it? The Sonic pads?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You configured it for the wrong board.
Yep. It would just start sending the pins high without you doing anything, which is even crazier. So I do notice it's got the cross-flow fan across here, which I am seeing on more and more machines. I have not messed with anything like that on a machine yet. Is that something that actually makes a difference, or is it kind of a gimmick?
What do you mean the cross-flow?
It's got the fan that.
Oh yeah, the sideblower. I've seen that a lot on.
Because I know some of the Vorons and stuff. Yeah.
I actually have something like that on both my V0s. I have the. It's like a carbon filter, but it blows directly over the print, so it acts the same as that, just nerfed because of all
so it says it's still detecting. I don't
And
hear
it does
anything,
help a
though.
little bit, and it helps for convection.
I don't
in
feel
the-
anything, and I don't hear anything anymore.
VZBot also has it. Hey, Scott.
But it still says detecting. I find it funny. You guys notice that they started putting these stickers on all their printers now?
Better filament plan.
Better
What?
better with Creality original filaments. So it's better with their Chinese filaments instead of other Chinese filaments. Oh, we have movement now. Is this using centralist homing? It must be. I don't hear end stops.
Most likely.
It's just it says auto leveling. Okay. Does this have 3 independent Z's? I don't think it does. I think it's all linked together because I only see one Z motor back here. I'm assuming it's a belt system where this goes down here and it's driving all 3 of these.
Well, we'll see when it gets opened up. Pretty sure they're independent.
I don't.
Oh, it's linked.
I don't think so.
Sam says
Yeah,
it's linked.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks like it's linked.
I mean,
Also, we are going to get. How many of you guys have K1s and K1 Maxes? Because we're going to be getting the hot ends from Microswiss in for them.
yeah, we just got an email back.
I mean, honestly, the single Z motor with a link is fine. Like, as long as everything's locked in and it's leveled, I don't see a problem with it. It also cuts the cost down a lot.
True.
What kind of leveling grid is it using? What is it doing? It's just slowly moving to the right. Just right across the build plate.
I have a K1 with the Microswiss hot end. And
Oh dear God. Okay, so they put a pretty serious flare fan on there. That thing is loud as shit. I mean, that thing sounds like it's going to move some air. It gets mildly quieter when you close the door. I do like the lights in here. I'm a big fan of being able to see my print.
Same.
It's
cleaning the nozzle.
Of what? The part cooling duct is super nice. It's like a tri-horn sound. So the fan sounds like it moves a lot of air.
Oh, does it have a little squeegee in the back?
I didn't really check, and it still says don't touch it. Oh no, I'm gonna touch it. I'm not. Oh, I touched the frame. Oh, this is like it's like a foam. Oh, look at that. Ooh.
Tim
Like
is
a
a
foam.
child.
Look at you can see my finger in it. Oh, and then it goes away.
I wonder if they added that after.
This is like watching paint dry.
dressing.
Yeah, sorry, Eli. Let me just refund you your $0 for the watching the video.
Oh,
Okay,
well,
so now it's auto leveling. Is it getting its offset? Oh, now it's making the bed dance. It's like those. It was like doing like what
it's
those
doing the jiggle.
like those Mercedes SUVs that have like the little.
Oh, the bell.
Yeah, the bounce. That's what it looked like. Man, I thought a BL Touch was slow. Jesus. Oh, it's a little. Why is it doing the little jiggle before it probes? Okay,
Is it like trying to wiggle off any ooze or something?
I don't know.
You have old firmware.
I mean, it's online. Why can't it? Is there a way for it to update its firmware? We'll check. Look, do you see it? Just did the little wiggle. It's like, like why? Why is it doing a little wiggle? Just probe.
It's funny and cute.
Okay, now we're actually making a mesh. How funny would it be if like some of these movements are literally just programmed into the firmware to make the customer think it's doing something? I ever thought about that? Do you know what I mean? Like,
My filament.
look, it did
doesn't
it again.
wiggle,
It did it again.
both.
It did it. It just did it again. Did you see the little wiggle before it started that line? I wonder if it'll do it on each line. Dr. Regis on Twitch says you have to do it manually for the current version. Auto update does not work at that version. Okay, so I'm probably on a really old one then. Well, while this is waiting, while we're watching paint dry, let me go online and see.
Yeah, it did a little wiggle again.
I just hate the cloud shit. Okay, so here's the thing. I worked in IT for years, and I used to do product reviews for stuff like IP cameras, okay? And I literally had an IP camera from a Chinese company and was trying to figure out why at like 3:00 in the morning, my upload on my WAN was just maxed out. Okay. I was like, I'm not uploading anything. None of my computers are uploading anything. And so I pulled my firewall up and I was using pfSense at the time. So I was actually able to see what device was using the traffic. And it was this IP camera I had on my network. And I just got it from Amazon. From the company reached out to me like, "Hey, we'll give you a code and you can do a review. We just want you to leave a review after testing it." I was like, "Okay." So it was like a little two-way camera PTZ, and I'm like looking at it. I was like, I don't have the app open on my phone. I had it connected to my local DVR, which I still use, which is Blue Iris. So there should be no WAN traffic. I wasn't viewing the thing on my phone. It wasn't recording out to the cloud, but it was streaming audio and video. So I started doing a packet capture on it, and I was running Wireshark, and I started seeing telnet sessions from an external IP address to that camera. And I was obviously it's telnet, it's unencrypted. And the guy was using the little embedded Linux version in the camera, typing telnet commands to scan my network. So at that point, I unplugged the camera. I put it back in the box. I sent it back to Amazon. I left an honest review. I even included the Wireshark packet capture, like a link to that capture. And Amazon wouldn't publish a review because it went against their guidelines. At that point, I knew that any type of people that actually know what's going on, that's not your average consumer, because most consumers are just pretty dumb when it comes to tech stuff, and don't think about this stuff. And most of the people are like, "Oh well, I don't have anything to hide." That's not the point. You have a right to privacy. And that's why all my cameras I have now are on their own isolated VLAN and cannot talk to the internet or anything else on my network. So I look at these devices. I run these devices offline. All my printers are offline. They're local only. I use Octoprint because I can look at the code and see what's going on. I know it doesn't do anything nefarious, but these devices, whether they're from Creality, whether they're from Bamboo, whether they're from Sunlu or whatever company, I will say the same thing. I don't trust the cloud shit. I don't. Okay. I don't trust smart shit. All my smart shit, I have tons of home automation stuff. It is all local. All the stuff we sell is all local. Our bulbs and our plugs, once they leave here, they don't report out to anything. They stay on your local network, and that's how it should be. Like, and end rent here. And that goes for all companies. Some people are like, "Oh, Tim's just a Bamboo hater." No, screw all the cloud companies. Keep your stuff off my network. Like, if you're going to give me LAN mode, it better damn well be actually LAN mode. It shouldn't even be making a DNS lookup. So, yeah, but I understand. So here, Ralph, gee, it's not that serious. All you have to do is create a VLAN on your network. Your average person, I love that the guy's got a fucking fedora, milady. Such a neckbeard emoji. Your average person doesn't have the network equipment to create VLANs. I run Unify. I'm a fucking nerd. I can create VLANs. This is on a VLAN right now that only has internet access. Your average person does not have the knowledge, nor do they typically have the hardware to do it. So that's the problem. your average person does not have the knowledge and typically does not have the network equipment to VLAN it off. And here's the thing, it shouldn't need to be VLAN off. It should be able to be pulled off.
Yeah, there shouldn't
All
you
right.
shouldn't have that shouldn't be a requirement for you to do.
Yeah.
It should be
All right. So I guess that's it. I'm gonna just kind of poke through the screen here. We got to go out of that. Self-inspection, update reminder, bind to the cloud, version checking. Currently the latest version. I'm on 1.3.0.30.
I think
So
I
it
just
says
got a message.
K1. All right, total time
What
it's been on
version?
for have we been streaming for 2 hours? No, it says total time is 2 hours 14 minutes. Okay, that must be total time the printer's been on. Camera, video list, yeah. So I'm wondering here if I can just hook a USB camera up to this. We're going to poke around on the inside and see what's going on under the hood, because I'd rather just use like one of our cameras if we can do that, because the cable that's going up there looks like it's just a USB cable without a USB plug on it.
Yeah, just cut it off and wire it.
So we've got local models here.
I sent him a link to the firmware update. Scott, we have a new.
So the question is, if we're going to root this, do we need to not update to whatever the latest is? You know, like, because sometimes, well, here, let's just see out of the box. So they got the local, there's a Benchy. It says 16 minutes. Well, here, I'm going to load some filament up. Let's see if I can figure this out if it's intuitive. So I guess you can set your nozzle temperature. Do they have a load filament button? Okay, so we got the model fan, which is our part cooling, side fan, which is the big sucker. That moves a lot. Holy shit. And then we got an exhaust fan. Okay, so all the fans work. I will say I do like this interface. I'm assuming this is some bastardization of Clipper screen.
Yeah, it looks like it.
I mean, it's responsive. It's fine for a printer. I'm not expecting
I really do like
100.
screen.
I'm not expecting like 120 hertz buttery smooth frame rate on a freaking embedded device like this. Like, it just needs work, right? Am I an idiot, or do I not see like a filament load unload button? I see extrude and retract here, but I'm not seeing like a load unload. So I can punch in. Oh, we do not want 500 degrees. So set it to 220. So the bed to 60. Oh, it's got a chamber temp on here. That's nice. So there's a lot of nice stuff here. This seems very well polished for a Creality machine. So for just the hardware, I do think this, because I paid $380 for what you get here hardware-wise. I think it is a good hardware buy. Just the hardware. Let's ignore the software side for the second. Hardware-wise, this seems like a pretty good bang for the buck. I'm going to see if I can extrude here. So the hot end does heat up pretty quick. We're almost at 220. The bed's at 47 already. Let me see. Okay, so you got it. So they don't have like a filament change. Oh, it is pushing filament out though.
Hey, 3D Medic. Read the plate. What does the plate say?
Please apply glue before print. Okay. Well, we're not going to use our glue stick. We're going to use our stuff.
Eli, those screens cannot be used with Mark. As far as I know, they can't be used. Scott would know better unless he's working on something. But
what are you talking about?
I'll check. The Eli was asking about adding this to our firmware. It would need to run Clipper.
This would not be a Marlin printer. So, and next year we are going heavier on Clipper stuff now that it's actually maturing, and hopefully be able to do our own thing. All right. Make sure I cover it all. All right. Got glue on the bed there. Okay. So Extrude. Okay, I'm just gonna purge it out. I got some of our silver PLA loaded in here. Still extruding? Yeah, we are. It's just very slow. All right, and I'm gonna run their bench EG code and see how this comes out. All right, so we have film in here. We're heated. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna print. I'm just gonna print from the built-in USB drive. Pops up. What? Do we want? Sure, I'll just do calibration. PLA 50 and 210. Sure, we'll just use the default settings. This is not a silk. This is just a silver. Okay, the screen just shut off. Take the lid off for PLA. Jesus Christ. The door is open. That's fine. I will take the lid off. Oh, does the screen just go to sleep? Is that what happened?
Anti-burn-in, yeah.
I want
honestly leave it on because I've burnt in a few of the big tree tech screens.
Why is this going to 1.4? Oh, for the calibration.
Yeah, so it's not oozing.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
probably going to do a lower nozzle temp so it doesn't ooze while probing.
So that fan speed is really good. So they did put a good fan on it. Let me get the shmoo off here. Yeah, no, it's going to do the calibration. Yeah, no, they got a silicone duct. So hardware-wise, I like it. I like it. Like it feels very well polished. Yeah, it feels very well polished, like hardware-wise.
Does it have the silicone thing at the back for nozzle wipe?
No, there's nothing back there.
I thought somebody said it was wiping the nozzle back there.
I thought I saw that too, but I'm gonna see what else is in our tool bin here. Someone said no.
About 130 people watching.
Wish they use a belt that fits the pulleys. Yeah, I see that. Their pulleys are a little big. I mean, it'll probably be fine. Oh, we have metal grease, name brand Creality metal grease. Oh, Jesus Christ! It's very aggressive.
11.7 millimeter belts.
No, it just does it on the bed, they said. So it probably just poops off the plastic in the back there. So it looks like they gave you extra of this foam here. That's what I'm assuming this is, like extra door seal, it looks like.
Is it for the top?
I'm assuming it's for here, because this is the only place that has it.
Well, no, that's why I'm saying, is it for the top? Because it's a lot wider than what's on the doors.
Is this printer easy to modify or close off than Bamboo? This is infinitely easier to modify than Bamboo, considering there is there are guides online. I have not looked at them, but I have seen them where you can root this and take it over. That's why I bought it. I was waiting for somebody to do that because I didn't feel like dealing with Creality's crap. And that's the only reason I bought it, is because I saw that somebody had rooted it. Now I'm going to see. I'm gonna actually look at my network manager and see what this thing, if this thing is doing anything network wise. I don't know what its name would be, but I do know what subnet it's on.
I mean, it should be the only thing on that network, though.
There's a couple other things, but there we go. It's showing up as Ingenic 9920. And it's sent MQTT data already, SSL and TLS traffic, and NTP. So it's only submitted 379 kilobytes of traffic so far. I don't think I can pull up I don't think I have access enabled from my network here to that one. I could open it up for a sec and see. See if I can gain. Hang on, let me see if there is a web interface on that printer. I don't know if there is, but I can put a temporary firewall rule here. Traffic rules. There's no. Oh wait. So it does have a web interface. So I just temporarily allowed access from my network here to that one on this IP. So this is the interface it has. So like I said, it does have its own interface.
Yeah, that looks like a really bastardized fluid.
Yeah, it's very basic.
The bastardized fluid interface says Maker Mind Nexus. Yeah.
Yeah. So ideally what my goal is to find out dear God, this probing is so slow.
Is it still probing?
It's still
I
probing.
walked away and came back.
Like honestly, like I wonder if I can throw one of our NG like 8 probes on here and just tell it not to use the load cell. You know what I mean? Like screw the load cell, just put a regular probe on here.
Just use the load cell for auto
like for the Z
offset
calibration.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then the probe to quickly go over the screen.
Ideally, what I want to see is if we can completely wipe all the Creality software off here and go with a standard Clipper install. I do see in the back, there's really nothing to show on here. I just want to see if it had an interface. I'm going to go ahead and put that block back in place so it can't access my network here. There we go. Block's back in place. It does have a chamber thermistor. It's back there. You see it? Hiding back there?
Yeah. We wouldn't run the probe to the tool board. We'd run it back to the main board.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't need extra pins for it. That.
Yeah, so far though, the hardware seems pretty decent. So now it's heating the nozzle up.
Yeah, and you got it for 300 something?
380.
Yeah, for that price, it's a steal.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Nice interface. Yeah, this is Creality's take on the Bamboo.
I mean, I'll take this over Bamboo because at least you can hack this and do stuff with it, whereas Bamboo is completely locked out. Yeah, with the load cell, we could auto Z offset, so they'd be best both worlds, or a faster probe with the Z offset.
Oh, that is true to know.
The Z offset's could be a little bit higher, but let's
does
see.
It have live speed on the screen?
It does not. I know what you're talking about, like to see how fast it's actually going.
Yeah.
All I can really do, I can turn the light inside on and off.
The requested and actual.
I can set the fan speeds. That's about it. There's not too much I can do while it's printing.
Yeah, reasonable being. I think Tim got the same coupon from Micro Center. Pretty sure. So we still need to update the firmware on it. See how the updated firmware is, and then remove it completely. I'm like, oh, this is neat. Goodbye.
There you go, Tor. Is this more of a printer that runs at your speed? Holy shit! Did it just get loud? Oh my God, Jesus Christ! This thing is
is
terrifying.
It did say it was what, a 15-minute benchy?
Yeah.
It's gonna
Jesus
twitch and blow those
Christ.
fans.
Ah. Oh my God, this sounds like a jet engine. Holy shit!
Close it up and see how it is with it closed.
Oh my God. I was not ready for. Do you see how much it's rocking?
Mm-hmm. They want you to
Okay.
run the speed test next.
Holy. Hang on. I have a decibel meter. Hang on. It's so loud. I cannot imagine a whole bunch of these running like a car. I have a decibel meter right here. It does this. She's moving. She's moving. Okay.
And the print looks great.
Yeah. But holy shit, is this loud? All right. So let's see. I got my meter here.
$62 decibels, 64.
This is like, okay, so hang on.
Sit and fry. Yes, this is Creality's bastardized version of Flipper. 70. Jeez.
It's loud as fuck. Do you see how much it's moving? It's shaking the whole table that the camera's on.
Backwards says close the door and see what the results are. And Blasto, I do not believe this has any of the multicolor. This is just fast Core XY. Isn't even Core XY?
It is.
Yeah. Not a little quieter, but not much.
She loud. This is louder than any other printer I have.
That's vacuum cleaner loud.
It's close. I wouldn't say it's like super vacuum cleaner loud. Why is this won't turn off? Turn off. You cheap sound meter.
No multicolor on this or the Max. Yeah, I didn't think so.
My meter won't shut off. It runs Cripper.
I mean, that is a clean print.
It's probably the cleanest print I've seen off a stock Creality machine ever.
Yeah, probably.
All things considered, what I paid for this for a Core XY machine, this is not a bad deal at all. It's moving. Hey, apparently our PLA can handle being pushed at the higher flow rates. So it says it's at 19%. We're 5 minutes in.
Even for 479, that's not too bad.
No, I mean for a Core XY machine that works out of the box, which this did, that's not bad at all. I see why everybody's been buying them up. I don't regret my purchase. Yeah, it's just a little bit faster than a stock Ender 3.
A wee bit.
It's doing the needful. What can I say? I mean, I'll be very happy if we can get our own little kind of stock clipper setup on here. Basically, I'm just buying it for the hardware. I sure as shit ain't buying it for the software. It's so violent, though. It is a very violent printer. Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
I'm sure it will be a little bit better once it's on a shelf and not just the side table.
It's so violent.
Also,
comment.
you added the like really thick rubber feet. Does
I
it
did.
have the hard rubber feet under?
It does
that?
have the hard rubber feet.
I'm wondering if you remove those, it would be less.
Don't you
shaky.
want it to be less? Don't you want it to like kind of have that shock absorption, so it's not just yeeting it into the thing?
Yeah.
So Kazuza says, root it, remove the Creality UI, fix input shaping, enable camp. Yeah, I let me ask you, because it seems like there's people that already have messed with this machine. Is there a way to just strip all the Creality shit off and just get Clipper on it? Because that's what I'd want to do. And it sounds like the load cell bed leveling has issues. So how many people would want to put like a small 8mm probe on there and use that for the actual mesh instead of dealing with the load cell? Because that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, because you can get a lot, like you can get 15mm plus probing speeds with our easy ABL kits, which would make the bed level mesh take a lot less time and then still use the load cell for the Z offset.
Minor rooted, yeah.
Read the chat. I am reading the chat. Oh dear God.
Try it on. See how it works on.
It's much faster on the update.
Firmware.
Okay.
I sent you a link in Teams, and
So we're gonna have to update it now.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. I'm looking at Teams right now.
I mean, with how fast it's going through a print,
it's still sending data. It's still sending data out though to the network or to the internet. It's sending. It's. I wonder if it's sending some sort of like statistical data out to Creality.
Diagnostic data, yeah.
Like, hang on here. I'll just share this here. Share screen. Here's my unified network control panel. So you guys see there. See, it's sent out MQTT traffic. So this is it. You can see here it's on my SSID. We connected it to. That's IP address. Its host name. Here's its MAC address. And you can see here insights. It's not a lot. It's only 500K, but it's still sending SSL and MQTT traffic out. This is what I'm talking about. I don't like. I've not paired this to any other cloud system. It shouldn't be sending anything out to the manufacturer. Like, it's none of your business what my printer is doing unless I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Bagwoods printer, it's sending telemetrics every few seconds. Fuck that. I had to block it in AdGuard. All right, let me see what you sent me toward. Yeah, right. Someone was talking about the bamboo stuff, and if they start figuring out like what you're printing, if they're going to flag it, or someone shows up at your house if you're printing stuff that the government don't like. So yeah. Update to 1.3.2.2 download by USB. Well, I'm gonna plug their sketchy USB into my computer and have my computer scan this shit.
Oh no.
Before we try to open anything. There's a K1 supplementary files. I'm gonna back up the USB here before I do anything to it. Let's see, K1.
Oh, the newest the 0.20 added root account password for root access. That's neat.
Great. Now a frozen version of Don't Want to Build Voron playing in my head. Yeah, that was one of the things. I wanted to play with a Clipper Fast Core XY, and I did not want to spend 12 hours building a goddamn printer. So here we have a K1. That was my logic. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than a Voron too. All right.
What's the build volume on this?
I honestly don't know what the build volume is. I didn't look. I just bought it. Okay, so Creality official K1 clear series clipper. So this is 1.3.2.1 you sent me. There's 1.3.2.2.
That's the one. Yeah. Somebody sent me the wrong link.
220 by 220. Yeah, so here's the thing. I have no desire to spend 12 hours building and printing and assembling a printer. Like this one looks way nice. I'm sorry, this looks nicer than a Voron. It's more polished. It's a nice looking printer. This is actually one of the first times I've actually been excited to play, like really excited to play and screw around with a printer in a long time. So not saying I wasn't super excited about the other ones, but this is something new. It's, Clipper's still pretty new to me. And it's nice to have a machine with a bunch of features that we can just start running and play with it. Let's see. Okay, so let me see. There's routing guide. K1 series OTA. Make sure it's okay. Well, I can't do that. Download the firmware crealitycloud.com, store it on a USB drive, and then plug the USB drive in. So do I have to download it from Creality Cloud, or can I just download it from this GitHub release? Because I see there's the Ingetic package. We'll see. I'm gonna save that. I see there's an OTA file as well.
I find it a little funny that when you talk, we can hear the fan a little bit in the background, as well as the zip.
It
is loud.
It is loud. Like, here's the thing. I've had all my printers running in here, and I don't think all my printers combined, even with all their layer fans on, are as loud as this one printer. So, but it is going to be in my office for a while. Tripod said, don't power up the SVO7 I sent you then. Apparently that one's loud.
Yeah, doesn't that one have a Kegel fan duct on the back?
Like I don't think I have a Creality. I don't think I have a Creality Cloud account. Please click the cow's nose. What is these Chinese sites with these stupid captions?
I mean, find the bus, find the bicycle.
I mean, they copy everything else that the West does. Why not copy our captions? Like, I did not realize. I totally forgot I set up a contact form on my website, my personal website, and apparently it's just been spam. I'm registering a Creality Cloud account. Download the firmware. As it says in the directions, go to crealitycloud.com.
Oh yeah, what is that tumor on the back of the SVO7? Wow.
Yeah, they have a giant duct thing. Okay, downloads, firmware. Here's the thing. If I, like, all these companies are going to all this cloud shit, I want to figure out how we can strip the damn thing out. Okay, so it says to update, check your printer board, printer type K1. So it's an OTA IMG. Okay, so I just save this on the SD, or on the USB, I should say.
Did pop up when you plug in the USB, is what people are saying.
Okay.
Blasto, it has input shaping. Work of witches. Essentially.
It's printing great. Like, I'm impressed with the hardware on this thing, which I'm happy. I mean, the fact that we can modify and put, our own shit on here, I don't care if the software's crap. For the price that that this came in at for the hardware it has, I'm happy so far. Also, if you guys have a K1, you guys want to recommend stuff we should add to our shop, we bought this to do development work and come up with upgrades for it. So if there's stuff you guys want to see in our shop, send us a message. You can just go to the contact us page on our website, hit the sales thing, and be like, hey, we want this. I saw some guy talking about belts. We can get belts in, we get pulleys in, we can get hot ends in, we get nozzles in, whatever you guys want. All right. And now it's quiet again. I can hear myself think.
It seems like a pretty popular printer. We have 130 people watching.
Yeah. All right, print finish.
Revo hot end. We were talking to Micro Swiss about their hot ends for it.
The offset was a little close.
Focus. Focus. Oh yeah, that's a little. Is that a brim?
Just the skirt got too close. I mean, all in all, it printed nice. I mean, it looks way better than some of the fast benchies I've seen on YouTube where they just look like a roughly boat-shaped blob of plastic.
Even if the input shaping is bugged on this,
so it's using this to cool down the hot end, I'm assuming.
Cool down the plastic as it's going.
Yeah, because the nozzle actually, it says it's 153, but I can actually touch the nozzle, and it's not really hot. All right, so let's go ahead and put the USB in. Whoop. Okay, it's asking if I want to upgrade. I'm going to hit upgrade. I'm going to hit upgrade. There it goes. All right, it's installing. So basically, I'm going to get super autistic with this printer over the next couple weeks here. Like playing with it, tuning it, adjusting settings, documenting how to modify it. I don't know if we'll be able to come out with like, hey, put this image on your printer or on your SD or USB and update it. That would be my ultimate goal, is to have like a TH3D K1 firmware pack. No, I know Marlon will not work on it. So 2024 for us is going to be year of Clipper. Okay, we're going to be embracing Clipper more and doing more stuff with Clipper. We are not giving up on Marlon though. We're going to do both. We're going to go both ways. Okay, it's 2020. It's going to be 2024. Okay, we can go both ways then. But yeah, you know what? Like this, I'm impressed with the hardware on this. Like so far.
Yeah, it looks
here's the funny thing that everybody wants to talk about, how when they print so fast, you lose detail though. Like they're like, oh, I made a benchy. Yeah, it's easy to go fast when you're just discarding all the information that's detailed. Like it's like the Voron guys. Guys, I did a 500 millimeter second 2-minute benchy, and it's like, I guess it's the rough shape of a benchy. Congratulations, you have a part that looks like dog shit, but it did it fast. You know. Yeah. Gonna accept my Clipper merge request. We only have merge requests for we only have Clipper for our easy board. So I want to do our own Clipper for this. And the SV07 and the T500. I've got 3 Clipper machines here.
Thanks for becoming a member.
Is that it? This is actually a fairly simple update. Is that it? Wow, it did update. Agree to the privacy policy. Let's see. Thank you. We may collect and use the information about you. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. What information do we collect? Origin access user, including recording the origin of each user using Creality services. I guess that means your like location. I would assume that's what that means. Let's see. When you're using Creality services, they will collect and ask for your phone number, network identity, including system account number, IP address, email address, related passphrases. So your network. Whoa! What the fuck is this? personal internet surfing records, log information, including website browsing history, software use records, click records, operation logs. So,
excuse me?
yeah, excuse me?
Why
You
do
guys are
they need
reading
my
this, right?
browsing history?
Are you fucking kidding me? This is why I hate the cloud shit, guys. So if I hit agree to this, now here's the thing. I'm going to hit agree to this because this is on its own private thing. This is the type of shit, though. Do you guys care about this? Do you want to know that you got caught watching, interracial midget porn? Like,
Yeah, why does Creality need to know what you're watching?
like right here, personal internet surfing records. Why the fuck does my printer need my internet records and what software I'm fucking using on my computer? Why? Why the fuck does my printer that's just meant to push plastic out of a tiny orifice need my fucking personal internet history? Why? Answer in the chat right now why the fuck this is relevant to a 3D printer. Seriously, I want you guys right now, we got 120 people watching. Why the fuck does this printer need my internet browsing history? Why? It's right here. I'm not making this up. Personal internet surfing records and log information, including web browsing history, software use records, click records, so what you're clicking on websites, and operation logs. Why?
Yeah,
Seriously.
but why does a 3D printer need it?
Why the fuck does my 3D printer need me to consent to it collecting this information? Do you see why these do not go on my network with all my other shit? But the point, I understand, just root it and be gone. I understand that. I bought this with that intention. However, your average person that goes to Micro Center and buys this is consenting to this bullshit for a 3D printer. Yeah, right? So how else are the red flag logs going to be enforced? Oh, you went on a GitHub for some gun parts. Hello, AFT.
ATF.
Do you see this shit? Like, this is bullshit. What else are we collecting here? Device information, including device model, device MAC. That's fine. I'm assuming no, hang on. They're talking about your fucking cell phone here. Your device model, device MAC, operating system type, device settings, and software list, unique identification codes such as your IMEI, your SIM card IMSI information, your Android ID. Oh, Jesus Christ. The purpose of Creality Cloud is to provide all internet users with safe, interesting, and instructive internet surfing experiences. They're selling your fucking data. The sound sucks. Does my sound suck? Is it because I'm yelling?
You sound fine to me.
I'm legitimately like, this is bullshit. Like, Creality, go fuck yourself. There's no reason you need to know what software I'm using and what my browsing history is for a 3D fucking printer. Like, this is absolute dog shit. Like, if you're smart, you'll care about this kind of shit. And like I said, I'm going to root this. Now, I'm willing to bet Bamboo collects all this stuff. The difference is you can't opt out of it by redoing the software because they have it all locked down. Like what else? I want to see what else they have. Okay, so SMS for marketing, if you consent. We'll collect user information for the following purposes, pushing messages to you to show and push goods or service, so advertising to you. Promote following goods or services of us or third parties. So this right here, they're saying that if you agree to this, they can basically go to companies and say, hey, TH3D, how about you advertise and we'll push notifications for your products to everybody that's got the Creality Cloud app on their phone. Our goods and services are, but not included, include, but are not limited online media services, social networking services, internet search services. So this is what they're saying they're selling you: internet search services, location and map services, application software and services, data management software and services, points and rewards program, device products, 3D printing, peripheral products, as well as other goods and services that we believe may be related to you. Why are you shutting off? My finger is on the screen.
Everything does that, but it doesn't need. Everything doesn't need to do that.
Everything needs to stop doing this shit, and you guys need to like make purchases based on stuff. Like, here's the other thing too. Like, I'm already in a personal morally gray area buying something like this because I don't think Creality gives a shit if I root it. It's still, they're still like, oh, look at, they're buying our printers, but this stuff still bothers me. Okay, hang on. What is this section here? With the exception of attaining... Who's calling me? Oh. My buddy Mike should know that I'm streaming right now. With the exception of obtaining authorization pursuant to relevant laws, your authorization is not required. Hold up. With the exception of obtaining authorization pursuant to relevant laws and regulations, your authorization is not required in collecting your information under the following circumstances. It is related to national security and national defense security, public safety, public health, and major
that's
public
Chinese
interest.
national security and national defense.
Well,
not the U.S. national. That's Chinese.
So, what if I print gun files on here? Or am I going to get ratted out? Like, my stupid Ender 3s don't do that. Criminal investigation, prosecution. So basically, they'll just bend over and give their data up to anybody, is what they're saying. Mr. Get over, man. This is lame. No, people need to be aware of the type of shit that all these products are collecting on you. Like, I've been slowly getting rid of things in my house that collect data on me. My Google Homes are getting kicked out of my house very soon. Home Assistant finally has a good voice assistant. And honestly, the Google Voice or the Google Assistants, their voice commands have been sucking. I'm ready to throw them out the window because they don't listen half the time. But like, why? Here's the point. Why does my printer need all of this? This is a printer. It's supposed to push plastic out. This has no business doing all this shit. Like, it's a printer. I know my Google Assistant is probably listening to me. I know my phone's listening to me. My printer has no fucking business going through my personal browser history. It's a printer. It's not a voice device. It's not like, it's a completely different class of device. That's the point I'm trying to make. This has no purpose. So I guess I can't do anything then. Like, well, screw it. It's on the VLAN network. It can't get to anything. Let's see what it does. Yeah, but their services, aka Creality Cloud. Yeah, it extends everything. But this, according to this, I just gave this device permission for all that stuff. You see what I'm saying? Now, let me ask you this. Should I reset this to default now that I have the new firmware on here and see what the setup process is like now? I kind of want to see what the difference is. Okay, cleanup options. I don't want to wipe the G-code files. I want to leave the ones that are on there. All right, let's see. Cleanup, confirm, reset. I'm going to unplug the USB here. The whole point is, and you're never going to sway me to just get over it. I'm tired of people having this laissez-faire attitude of this is just how the normal is. If you want to bend over and take it up the ass for people stealing your data, selling your data to advertisers, then that's fine. You do you. I am a privacy-focused individual. I try to do as much as I can to limit my exposure of my own personal data to other companies. Like, that's me. All right, so let's see. Okay, so we're going to remove this stuff. So it is like out of the box. I'm going to hit OK. Oh, look at. Now with the latest firmware, you cannot even set the printer up without agreeing to their privacy policy. We did not have to do this on the old firmware. Do you see that? You can't even use this printer without accepting the privacy policy. Wow. Wow. Well, you can go ahead and look at my network full of nothing. There we go. Here, I made a network just for this printer. Why would the arrow key not take you to the next step? That seems like a bad UI.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're on -2. Oh, they okay. The update actually added time zones in. So area, international, mainland China. I'm not binding this to the cloud.
Okay, don't touch it this time.
You know what, Tor? Let's chat while this is going. Let's chat. I'm gonna do a poll. Let me get a poll set up. Because here's the thing. For those of you guys that I'm sure there's a lot of new people watching. I am not somebody that has ever followed the crowd or the mainstream my entire life for everything. I have seen too much shit. I've worked in tech for over 10 years. Okay, before I started TH3D, I was an IT guy. I did my time in help desk purgatory, aka level 1. Did level 2. I did more specialized stuff. I did project management. I've worked on everything from basic desktops all the way up to huge multi-site network deployments with on-site servers and hundreds of desktops. So I have a lot of experience with the IT world. Okay. The problem with everybody saying stuff, yeah, that sounds weird. Saying stuff like, where is it here? Here, get over it, man. This happened for the last 10 years later. Bye. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Whoop-de-doo. I lost a viewer. I don't care. So if you guys like somebody that isn't afraid to speak their mind, keep watching me. If you guys don't like it, then don't watch me. I literally could not care. I do this for fun. Like, you know, this stuff is going to keep getting worse and worse. And this is one of those things where it's going to be a problem. It's not going to be a problem until it is. And by the time it is, the advertisers, the government, all these groups are going to have so much data on everybody that they'll be able to take stuff and twist it and form whatever narrative they want to make you look like a monster. That's the worry. Okay. So by trying to set yourself up and live your life in a way that limits how much shit these companies are collecting on you, you're looking towards the future. Too many people are short-sighted these days and only look at like the next day or two, if we're lucky. You got to look ahead to the future. You can't just be like, whatever. Like there was a guy who is a good example of why another reason why the cloud sucks. One, all these cloud cameras, okay, that people record their stuff. Holy shit. I'm going to turn the NVIDIA noise filtering off so you guys can hear it. It was very loud. There, I turned the filtering off. It's quieter now, but it was shaking a lot. Holy crap. Anyways, where was I? Where was I agreed? Where was I going to say? Oh, look at Mr. I'm leaving is still here. The point is with the machine here, I don't care that I clicked agree. It's on a network that has nothing on it. I'm not going to give him access to my stuff. I'm not putting the app on there. I'm going to root this thing and they can go screw themselves with their data collection. Let's see. Remember when you checked the box agreeing to their terms, which you didn't read a single word before agreeing to terms. I literally just read their terms on stream. Are you dense? When I don't know if you still saw, but on the new firmware, you have to agree to the privacy policy before you can even use the printer. Like, yeah. So anyways, you guys need to be aware of what they're collecting. And if you genuinely don't give a shit, then fine. If that's what you want to do with your life, then fine. I think it's stupid, but that's my opinion. I'm just a guy on the internet, and who cares what I say? If I say something you don't agree with, fine. Every single person that watches my channel is not going to agree with every single thing I have to say. And that's fine because we're all adults here. But stop telling people to just lie down and take it. They should be aware of what is happening with their devices. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. You should be aware of what is going on your network. You should be aware of what's going on with your cell phone, any device. Me personally, I will not buy devices anymore that have to be connected to a cloud shit. I have in the past, and you know what? I've been burned. For example, the TP-Link. I used to have a lot of their smart plugs, okay? And then they started pushing out firmware updates without consent to the users to just kill the local API access that I use and many other people used. So I stopped buying their products, and I actually came out with our own plugs. We have our own Tasmota powered plugs. So if you guys want plugs and light bulbs that don't report their shit, like when they're getting turned on, how long they're left on, or anything, they don't. My products, our control boards, our control boards, our Wi-Fi plugs or Wi-Fi bulbs, they don't collect anything and send it anywhere unless you specifically tell it to. Once those products leave here, I don't give a shit what you do with them.
Yeah.
Like I don't
care if when you turn your shit on and off. I have better things to do with my life.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm not just sitting here talking about being privacy minded and not doing it myself. I literally have products that we sell, that we designed, and we run software that is open source, so you can see exactly what's going on with the code. So I'm not pulling bullshit on you and selling your data, because you might not think about it, but like all this Tuya stuff, or Tuya stuff, which is in most smart home devices these days, they're collecting all this data and they're selling the data. That's why they're basically selling the user data. The data to them is more useful to them than the actual devices themselves. So it's kind of like a trade-off. You get cheap hardware, but we're selling your data to advertisers and whoever else. Like, yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Then the way I see Scott here says, note, they aren't collecting your browsing history, just interaction with their domains. That's not how it was phrased. It wasn't phrased like on our websites. It was said personal browsing history. It's getting loud again. Can you guys hear it?
Yeah, I heard the.
I have the noise. I have the noise. Can't hear. I'll move it closer. Can you hear it?
Thank you, Ty Guy. Yeah, we can definitely hear it.
It's very loud. I'm gonna go. I think the batteries in this are low. Which
Yeah,
is why
but
I wasn't
how
gonna
it's
turn it
phrased allows them.
Yes, how it's phrased allows them to. Oh well, you agreed to it. I go by what's written literally in there, because if anything legally happens, that's what they're going to go by. What did it say? What did you agree to? Tori, you can chat with them. I got to go grab 4 AA's for this, because these are probably 6 years old, and it's probably why this thing wasn't turning off. I'll be right back.
But yeah, if they're only collecting it for their site, it should be phrased in that way. Not just a blanket, we can take your browsing history. You guys can source some linear bearing. That'd be terrific. Doing a little dance.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, so the other thing too is, like, I try to also do stuff for our customers that are privacy focused too. Like, for example, our help desk system is entirely self-hosted here on my server. Okay, it's on our private server here. Our analytics, we don't use Google Analytics. We use our own self-hosted Matomo Analytics. It's an open source software. So I'm not selling my customer browsing history out to Google, because even though Google has a really nice ad analytics platform, or not ad analytics, a nice site analytics platform, they're providing that platform because your customers then, if you're running Google Analytics, Google's collecting that data and using it for advertising. They're going, okay, well, this person, and they have like IDs for everybody. is going to TH3D. They're clearly into 3D printing. That's a data point they can use to then serve you ads and sell information. Like we try to take our customers' information very seriously, and we're trying to get more self-sufficient. Like if anybody has any recommendations on a self-hosted live chat system, that'd be great as well. We currently use Crisp for our system, and their EULA seems pretty good. It doesn't seem like they sell their customer data. And for like our shipping operations, we use ShipStation, and they're on the same page. It doesn't seem like they're selling customer data. I look at everything that we are connecting our stuff to make sure I'm making a well-informed decision, and I'm not going to be selling out my customer information or my company information to third parties that I don't want to have it. So, all right, let's see if my thing, it works now correctly. It actually turns on and off with the new battery. So it must have just been low, which is weird. It's got a low battery indicator, but yeah. Like, it's just I'm so frustrated with our invasion of privacy. Like even the US government just passed a, what is it, like $388 something billion, like that's what it's going to cost us taxpayers. And it's literally to screw us taxpayers over. Someone know the bill. It was basically, it's warrantless tapping is what it is. Like, I'm just tired of it. Like, I'm so tired of it. And you know what? It's a lot harder trying to be privacy focused. Like your life is like a little bit more difficult because, like for example, I just pulled all my information off of OneDrive after reading through their privacy policy. It's not the Patriot. Yeah, it was a warrantless spying bill. But after reading that, basically, I didn't realize this. It apparently got updated back in like 2018. And I didn't read that privacy policy. I'll admit that. But now that I'm aware of it, I can't in good faith use their services because basically they say that we will go through all of your information. If we find anything that we think is, hate speech or something that doesn't fall in line with what our values are, we can just terminate your accounts anytime. So I don't want the risk of, I had like, I don't know, an edgy joke or something saved. And, now my Microsoft account's, killed. So I lost all my files and I can't log into my computer. So yeah. Let's see. The printer's doing calibration. Okay, it's done now. All right. I'm curious to see. Let's see how the Benchy looks with the new one. You guys gonna stick around for another print? I'm gonna run the same print. Yeah, it was so. Yeah, I wish I saved. I just was reading about it yesterday, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I'm tired of the cloud stuff. Like, can we put our time? And here's the thing: the companies are not going to put their time and effort into stuff that, stuff that makes people more self-sufficient. They want you reliant on their cloud stuff because it locks you into their platform. Like look at Bamboo. Bamboo can just decide, and they're going to do it at some point. You can go ahead and clip this and mark my words. At some point, you guys are going to have older printers. Maybe it's a year from now. Maybe it's 5 years from. Maybe it's 10 years from now. You're going to have a piece of hardware that works fine, and eventually they're going to kill off features or just make it not work correctly anymore because it's so old because they don't want to support it or whatever. Apple does this with their products all the time. The point I'm trying to make is you guys should be, if you care about privacy, you care about having control over your hardware, you guys should be looking more closely at to what you're agreeing to and what products you're buying and how they function. That's my ultimate goal here. So,
It is chooching.
oh yeah, I forgot to turn the noise removal off. Whew. It's loud. He's very loud. I mean, if it prints nice, I don't care how loud the machine is. I really don't. What do you guys want to chat about while we're waiting for this to run? I'm going to see if there's a difference in, so same filament. We're going to see this is stock firmware. We're running the updated one. I don't know if we'll root it. Maybe we'll do like a hangout. Does that sound like something that'd be good?
Rooting stream.
Yeah, like a hangout tweaking stream, because we bought this with the intention of making better software and figuring out what upgrades we want to do on it.
Somebody was asking for linear bearing. Doing this little dance.
Yeah. Because your clipper machines don't do that, do they? Is that just a Creality thing?
That is something
I've never seen a clipper
seen
machine do that, because I've seen a lot of Vorons print. I've never seen them do the little ooh. Like, why? Do they do it just to make it look like it's doing something? Is it the load cells? Like, is it testing the load cells? Like...
like, it's too quick to be an accelerometer test.
Unless they're just doing it just for shits and giggles. You know what I mean? Like, just to make it look like it's doing something more than it actually is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing I can think, because there have been things like that. It's like companies that put like the fake looking tweeters. They're like fake tweeters in like speakers to make it look like it's got more than it is. Like, it's kind of like making it look like it's doing something that it's not. Just like, oh, it's doing the thing. Like, it's just part of the process. It looks fancier. Like, it makes you feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never seen it before.
Does anybody want to pop in here and chat with us? Because we are on StreamYards. I'm just curious.
God.
Yeah, Scott, do you want to pop in here? If you're someone I know, you can absolutely come on. If you're someone you don't know, I'll send you you can send us a message on our site, and I'll send you a Teams link for Tor to qualify you or something. Or I'll send Scott I'm curious to know what Scott's thoughts are. I mean, Tor, what are your thoughts about all the privacy stuff? Because these are just my thoughts. So the point of having more people on here is to get other perspectives.
I understand them collecting some data for like the telemetry stuff to see how they can make it better, what issues are popping up.
Mm-hmm.
But things like the browsing history and stuff, like, it's stuff they don't need for any reason. Also, like, the models you're printing, it's stuff they don't need. Like, they can see like how long it is, the temps you're using, sure, whatever. But exactly what you're printing, why?
I don't know. I mean, the reality is that like most companies, ours is not one of them, but most companies these days that have all this connected stuff, they're going to sell your data because it's a profitable thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is profitable for them to sell data, which then arguably allows you to get a little bit lower price if they're basically subsidizing the price of the product with the data collection.
It's all good, Thermistor.
It's fine. I mean, we're here to have discussions. It's just like I'm tired of the just bend over and take it mentality a lot of people have these days. Like, it's not good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a good thing for us at all. I'm tired of having our privacy violated by everybody, by companies, by the governments. Like, it's not okay. And it's never, here's the thing, it's never going to turn around. And
yeah,
I'm not
also ask for quick history.
I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to be like the savior of the internet and I'm going to figure it all out and make it all better. I know I'm not going to be able to make that much of a dent, but the point is, I'm going to turn my noise removal back on. There we go. The point is, if someone doesn't start, it's never going to get anywhere, and nobody's going to question things. And I'm really tired of people not questioning stuff in general. You know, like, it's frustrating. Like, my parents always taught me to ask questions about things, and read through things before agreeing to them. And in most cases I do. So yeah, Nick Warner, I work in cybersecurity and refuse to connect smart devices to my home network. So what I do here, I have a ton of smart devices. I've got like 130 devices on my Wi-Fi network right now. The thing is, here we go. Welcome, Scott.
Hey, what's up? Gotta work on my microphone. Hold on.
Yeah, you got to turn off the mute the stream so it's not feeding back through.
What's going on there? How am I going to hear everybody? Oh, I have to put headphones on.
Yeah, I'll mute your mic for now while you get set up.
Yeah.
So what was I saying? Sorry, Scott derailed me here. Basically that like it's never going to change unless people start questioning things. Oh yeah, my parents always taught me to ask questions and understand what I'm agreeing to. Oh yeah, we're talking about Nick was talking about smart devices. So I have a ton of smart devices. The difference are that my smart devices over the years, I've literally replaced working devices with newer devices that are running open source firmware because I don't want them collecting my data. Like I don't like most people are like, oh well, why do you care if the company knows that you turned your lamp on at 9 o'clock or and then turn it off at 3 a.m. or you have a timer set for it. Well, if somebody gets that data, they could probably deduce if I'm home or not by what devices are being turned on automatically. Like, hey, he's got a lamp that turns on automatically, or he set a schedule for this one to make it look like someone's home. He's probably not home, or you have apps that like do stuff like geofencing that are not private because I do log my own data to my own server. I use Home Assistant. So I log my location data of where I've been, but it's on my own server. It's sitting on my own hard drive. It's on my own server. Scott, when you think you're ready, just give me a thumbs up and I'll unmute you. You might be able to unmute yourself though. Yeah, like I'm really tired of the data collection. And who knows, maybe I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wasting time and it's just being, paranoid for no reason, but I would rather do that instead of having it actually be something really nefarious and screw me over later on. And maybe it made my life a little more complicated or a couple more steps. But at the end of the day, I like having that comfort of knowing that I'm at least trying to make the right choices and protect my privacy. And the thing is, there's a lot of cool stuff out there that is smart stuff that you have to connect it to the Wi-Fi. And there's a lot of features like, look at the bamboo printers. I think the bamboo printers are cool machines, but the whole reason I haven't bought one is there's no way to completely neuter them and, flash the software and put your own thing on there. You have to use their stuff, like that's the problem I have with them. At least with this, the reason I bought this is because I knew there was a way to basically get their crap off of there and put our own stuff on there. And at that point, it became an attractive product for me. And I know I'm the minority in thinking like that, but I have a platform here and I'm going to talk about the concerns and stuff. And I do feel like it is starting to turn where people are becoming more mindful of what their devices are doing and how they're collecting data, what they're collecting, where it's getting sent to. And it will never occur to people until somebody talks about it. So
there's a lot of crackdown in the EU on that stuff. So
yeah. One of the things few things they are doing right is they are actually privacy focused when it comes to that kind of stuff, because like all these companies are just, collecting tons and tons of data and selling it, like I get collecting data for your own company purposes, but a lot of them are doing that for that, but they're also then selling the data, which that's a part where I'm not okay with.
Yeah, I mean that's really the question is how obviously now of course whenever it's a good thing there is a license agreement. Previously you didn't know what you necessarily were agreeing to, but there's a lot of language in there that they're required to have if they even do like any kind of collecting like IP addresses on their website, then they have to disclose that as basically collecting to let private information in a sense, because that's and it's up to you to get a VPN to mask it or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and all that kind of thing now.
I mean, and we collect IP addresses and accesses to our site, but the difference is we collect it on our own private platform. I'm not sending it to Google. You know what I mean?
I had to agree to a thing to come on here on StreamYard.
Yeah.
I gave them access to my camera, but only this time. I could have given them permission to look at my camera anytime.
Well,
I'm
that you have to have
interact
the
with their
browser.
site, which
That you
would
have to have
include,
the
I
browser
suppose,
open.
inside a hidden, you know.
I am curious. I'm gonna look at StreamYard's privacy policy. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of ways to, you know, I mean, you know, in IT, and I know from web design, like you can do, you know, everything is iframes. Everything is one site inside of another site, inside of another site, all the way down. And it's like you're always connecting to like 20 sites anytime you connect to one site.
Yeah.
Just to get all the images and stuff. They're all hosted in different places, and they all have to go through thousands of little networks. And it's like you are going to be tracked and found, you know, if you're doing nefarious things online. So,
Yeah.
you know, as long as you're behaving yourself and not using the internet to like commit crimes against, but you know, of course, if you're living in an oppressive regime and you're trying to get justice, that becomes, you know, a tool of oppression. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You have to
Like,
play both ends of the stick with this one.
yeah, because it's
a great
like, okay,
tool,
like
but
it's like, okay, like here's the
it can be
thing,
misused.
like for example, let's say, and I'm not saying that I've heard of this happening, but it could be a thing, you know, like we have, you know, you have printers and you can, you know, 3D print guns and stuff. Like that's just the easiest thing to bring up because it's, you know, a thing that a lot of people, it's like, it's my whole thing is if you live in the US, it is legal to do that. But there's certain states I found out, like apparently Illinois, it's not like a class 4 misdemeanor. Like I used to live in Illinois to 3D print a gun because it's technically a ghost gun because it doesn't have a serial number. So if I lived in Illinois and like I'm printing it on a cloud connected printer, like, you know, this or the Bamboo, are they gonna like, are those states now going to try requesting information? Now they have wind of these printers existing and they are cloud connected and they're connecting data. And they said here that in the privacy policy that they'll give that data up without consent.
Well,
people
they
then
may have to, you know, because they live in a police. Well, we all live in a police state, and everyone is required to disclose with a warrant and also keep it private when they do so.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If
like
the court says you can't disclose it, you can't disclose it.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like
so where your data is
yeah. So like maybe
you.
it's not now, maybe it's not a year from now, but what if they're like, hey, 3 years ago on your K1 or your P1P, you printed a Glock frame. Where's that gun?
Right. Yeah, where is that gun? Well, like, that's a valid question, isn't it? I mean, in a way, it's like if you can produce it, then you're good. But yeah, it's all about that. It's like, you know, you have to justify everything that you do. And in that kind of case, it's like, you know, there are things.
Is there really any other thing we could print that would be like
regulated?
Like, is there any other thing I can use as an example other than like guns are just an easy one for like a privacy discussion, right? Like in printing.
Well,
I mean, I can't really think of anything else really. Like
maybe it's a bad counterexample because there are valid reasons you might want to, you know, we all root for the guy on the FBI show who's going after the guy with the gun. And he gets the hacker to like get into his phone and show me where he's been.
Yeah,
shopping.
where did he put it?
Where did he buy? What did he buy this week?
My whole thing though is like, it's none of their business what I'm printing at home. Like it's none of their business. It's what it comes down to. Like,
sure.
But the thing is, when you start connecting things to the internet, it makes it very easy for them to find out what they're doing and you have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing would be like, if each of us has our own, like, personal internet node that we can connect to that just, you know, resides on as a feature on, you know, your whatever.
I mean, that's kind of like what I have. I mean, I just set up, like literally a couple days ago, I just set up my own Nextcloud instance.
Yeah, you should. That's the way to go, right?
That's after I read through OneDrive's policy, I was like, no, I'm good. I mean, I'm even thinking about pulling all of our stuff off of Microsoft's for the company because we use Teams, and Nextcloud could replace most of what Teams does. You know. Right. So
and I mentioned Beam by I forget who makes Beam, but that's a good one to check out. That's like a little device that it connects to your network and allows you to print without connecting to the cloud. It's just a thing. It has its little file server on it and everything. I think it's ESP32 based, very small, very low power.
I mean, here's the thing: all my printers here are network connected. Every single one of these printers are on the network, except they're using Octoprint, which is an open source software that I can go through the source code, and I can tell you from my internet logs, the only thing they do is they check for updates, but they're not reporting any information. And they ask you if you want to report information like anonymized statistics just for Octoprint, and I opt out of that. but the thing is, they're not doing it, even though I opted out of it. There's no thing in Octoprint's terms of use saying that they're going to report it and store this data regardless of what you select. This one says that basically, regardless whether you opt in or not, they're going to serve it up to whoever. So they're collecting it somehow,
Sure.
right?
Well,
based on the
before
wording.
you
Again,
even
you know,
accepted
you
that-
remember in IT. Oh yeah, go on, Tor.
before you even accept that, it was sending stuff elsewhere. It was sending
Yeah.
telemetry back.
Yeah, it was definitely
Well,
sending.
yeah, naturally.
Yeah, because why would it be sending MQTT data when I haven't even connected it to an account?
Yeah, it wants to know that, hey, this printer that was made with this serial number is now on the network. Hello, it's been activated, and that's
It's
considered
printing
like
things. I
they
wonder
know
if
it's
I
been
could
sold, it's been delivered, now it's been turned on,
I
and
wonder
now they
if
know
I
it's
can,
doing 2 prints.
I know. I wonder if I can do a data capture
Maybe.
with Unify. I haven't actually checked to see if that's possible. If I can have it capture the traffic, because I'm looking here. So we've now
Well-
transmitted. It's transmitted over 1 megabyte of data. Now that's not a lot of data. However, MQTT is just basically text. It's not a ton of data. So that's almost 600 kilobytes of MQTT data. It's sent out, and it's sent out over 236 kilobytes of SSL and TLS traffic. So which is just encrypted web traffic.
Right.
Yeah,
I thought
they
there was a
gave
way
you-
where I could have it record and
Yeah.
I
And to
might
give
maybe
people
I
a
was
point of
thinking on,
reference, if you look at a Benji file, it's only a couple megabytes, and that's thousands of lines
Yeah,
of text.
yeah.
a lot of text, and but with the binary compression, it's even lesser. But yeah, well, what if you go to like Creality Cloud and log in, and what if you could browse and look at all the data that they have collected on you, and
Oh, actually, I realize what I can do. So
and
with
view
Unify,
it at any time, and then
So with-
download it in an Excel spreadsheet.
so with my Unify system, I could set up a port mirror to my workstation here, and then have
Yeah.
Wireshark capture the data. So basically, my network system
Yeah.
can take all the information from this, mirror it to my workstation, and then I can capture that to see exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I mean that's a good exercise. You should definitely do that. And it's a good idea to know. And I don't know. Probably a lot of folks are doing this. I mean, certainly our intelligence orgs are all doing this stuff to make sure that these things are whatever they're transmitting is innocuous or only marketing.
I think the
usage
easiest
related,
way.
basically.
I think the easiest way for me to capture the data from this is to just grab. I've got little crappy access points here. Just set it up and connect it to that, and then mirror that because it's going to do it on the port. So right now it's connected to the access point that's above my
That's
head, which
cool.
has a bunch of other stuff. So if I went and grabbed like a little crappy access point, set up like a little test network, mirrored that port then on my switch to the one on my workstation here, and then I can do a packet capture, and then obviously this will be the only thing connected to that access point, so we can assume any data coming through that port is related to this printer. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a pack. I'm not going to do it now on stream because I'm going to have to mess around with it and test it and see what's going on. But I am curious to see what it's doing because it's not connected to their cloud stuff. It just has network access. That's it. So,
Right on.
Because I do want to see what it's collecting and what it's sending back and where it's going. Because that information, by doing a packet capture, I'll be able to see where it's going. And if the data is not encrypted, I should be able to see what is in those packets going out. So, and I believe MQTT can be encrypted and unencrypted, depending on what protocol it's using, because there is unencrypted MQTT and there's also encrypted MQTT. Like I just use unencrypted MQTT on my home network for my personal stuff, but it's local here. I don't give a shit, and they're on their own VLAN. Like even my own IoT stuff that I know is not reporting out to the internet, they're still on their own separate VLAN. So that thus, if let's say I had a device here that was trying to scan to see what devices were on my network, and they go, oh, he's got a bunch of smart stuff. Here's a plug. Here's a washer. Here's a dryer. Here's a heater. Here's a camera. Like they would have to know that other subnet, and if they don't know that subnet, so another layer of security just by obscurity, right?
Sure.
Like if you came to my network, if you came here and I put you on my home Wi-Fi, unless you start doing some digging, you're not going to realize that I have a whole nother subnet just for my IoT devices.
Oh, sure.
And you probably wouldn't be able to easily figure out what that subnet is to begin with to even try to scan.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You just sort of in general, hackers can dig into that stuff with using all kinds of techniques. But just
Did I get
using
some under extrusion there?
Yeah, it could be a little bit. I mean, right now
see that?
it's
I think we got some under
yeah.
extrusion there.
Yeah, that could be just a little heat creep, maybe. I don't know. They tend to have.
Oh,
I know that
nope,
they.
it fucked up. It fucked up.
I-
Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's sometimes have little weak fans on the heat breaks above the nozzle. Oh, wait, now it's back. It's back. Wait.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, the lever came undone. It shook the lever that locks the filament in place on.
Oh, lever.
There's a
It
lever
got
on
vibrated
top.
itself out of place.
It did
so
vibrate
it's so
itself out of
strong.
place. Yeah,
Okay.
this
Printer
little
go
lever
burp.
here. Hang on. That lever on
Oh,
here
okay.
was in the unlock position.
Oops.
I pushed it all the way over here.
Wow.
So
Well, hopefully it's maybe just needs a little tightening. But hey, that's all right.
That's what was causing that. Because
Whoops.
now it's printing again.
That's cool. Well,
Ah,
it's little engineering trade-offs. We might be able to. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. But that looks. That's a pretty cool little device. That's all right. But overall, hey, before that, it was doing very well. And I see it's got a few fans in there. Yeah, I could see that you could definitely switch that out for like more of a side blower fan, more like the
It has a
Bamboo
side blower.
it has
it
one,
also
but
has a side blower. Oh, that's just the exhaust fan, I guess, in the back.
Yeah.
And, okay, fun.
that's what I said.
Well,
Hardware-wise, for the price, I thought it was a pretty good buy.
yeah. Well, in terms of exhaust, I guess bigger fan can be quieter.
All right,
there
let's
you go.
see.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Hang on. So this is the one I just took off of the original firmware it had. You can see there where it's
ringing a little bit.
I'd say they look pretty similar.
Maybe a retune on that shaping.
I mean, it looks about the same. We'll have to see how it is once I start messing with the firmware. Yeah, I'd say it looks about the same.
It's tricky shaping, especially with the Core XY. It's a little tricky, but they'll get it.
Yeah, this was from the lever here. So yeah, that lever vibrated itself out. That's funny.
Yeah.
So I mean, but
There's
hey, that was
also the
how long did that take? It took 16 minutes. It actually took 16 minutes.
Yeah, I'm impressed. The only other I have the belt printer, and that's a Core XY from Creality, and it's a solid Core XY kind of construction.
It's a lot quieter with the top and the door closed.
Yeah, I hear that you have to maybe put a little riser for the door for the top piece so it doesn't get caught on the cables. Raise it up just 2 millimeters or something.
Yeah, because these companies don't understand that you need some clearance to like have things not hit.
Something
Even
like
the
that,
bamboos have that problem. I saw guys printing risers for theirs too.
Yep.
Teardown, why won't Micro Center
Not bad.
sell us which generation K1 they're selling? I have no idea. I mean, they might not even know.
Yeah, they're just resellers.
Creality probably doesn't even have these marked. As far as I'm not aware. Maybe I'm wrong. Feel free to prove me wrong in chat, but I don't think there's a way to tell which one you have until you get it. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna go let the dogs out. You guys can chat.
So pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, of course, my interest is in like seeing what kind of electronics it runs and playing around with that.
Yeah, we still
and
it up.
using it as a platform to tune some Marlin stuff, because if you could hack it and get Marlin on there with some Octoprint or even with the standard other stuff that they use, typically fluid mainsail and the other things. Those could be fun to play, get tuned in there, and have those be controllable.
It'd be great to see some of those.
Get a good feedback loop, or hybridization, or cross-pollination, because all this stuff is being open. That's the main trick. It's like it's open for that reason.
Well, at
for
least
hackery
Creality,
experimentation.
Even though they've been slacking on releasing source and still releasing source code, unlike other companies. Like they're out of all the Chinese companies, it's them and Stovall are probably my two favorites. I'm going to put it like this because I don't want the glass door pulling in Uncle Jesse.
Real good faith over time, and
what happened there?
it was I miss having Naomi as my go between.
Yeah.
It was very easy to like get stuff done that way.
Good to see that she's still alive and kicking. She hasn't posted
Yeah.
for a while until early December.
Yeah, well, she'll have a chance to hang out again. It'd be good.
Oh yeah.
Because she did come to New York for one of our events, which were the Maker Faire that year.
Yeah, we were there too. I don't think I think we went to the last Maker Faire in New York. I think that was the last one. Because my brother and my dad went. Do you remember that?
Yep. And things shut down for a little while. That was a great event. I had never been to that one. It was like definitely it was a throwback. It's like we don't have Macworld anymore, so we have to go to these things.
Well, we got a thing here. Oh, we got a PWM or not PWM. We got.
I see. Well, okay, now you're in my wheelhouse. So it's a big old board with all the accoutrements on it. I guess it's a combo. It's got both the pie.
They used trim fiddles.
Oh, hey, look at that!
I called it knockoff power supply. Look at that knockoff power supply.
That's
Reality.
Really good.
Oh yeah. That's
so the
350
watt mean wheels
Props for that.
The 350 watt mean wheels will fit here. Yeah, I called it. So here, there's a motor here. So the motor here drives this. They got like a tension. It's all plastic though.
Yeah, it's maybe it should be safe out of the sun.
It is not Gates belt. They're knockoffs. It's just maybe it's a brand I'm not familiar. NS is the brand of the belt. They're not Gates.
Huh. Well, keep an eye on those belts. They're pretty neat belt path though. It's really cool.
Yeah, so they're doing it. They're doing a gearing here, going from the smaller. They're doing a gearing here for the Z.
Yeah, gearing
this
down.
Is what's funny is this thermistor is labeled 260C.
Okay.
It says 80C. I wonder if they're running a PT on here because it says 80C heat and 80C TB here.
Maybe.
We've got another heat here. So there's bed and then 24 volt. I'm assuming this is labeled fan. Where's the hot end? Oh, holy shit! Look at this. You see what I see? You see what that is, Scott? That footprint on the right there above the cables. You see what that looks like?
Ethernet.
That looks like an Ethernet header.
Yeah, I guess so.
So you got the activity, you got your link and activity lights, and then this. I wonder.
Neat.
I wonder what components.
Certainly good for development.
Well, what I'm saying is, if I was able to find that, I wonder if you could hardwire this instead of having to do Wi-Fi, because clearly the Wi-Fi is down here. Here's the Wi-Fi. Oh no, here's the antenna.
Yeah, it's just a serial port essentially.
Here's the antenna here. This is the Wi-Fi right here. Here's the antenna. This goes up, so they probably. Oh, the antenna. No, it doesn't. It just goes right here. So there's a little patch antenna right here to the right. What I'm wondering is if you soldered on, if you found a part that fits here, if you soldered on an Ethernet jack, would the Ethernet work?
I would guess there may be a jumper somewhere else. Yeah, you might need to solder a certain resistor across one of those jumpers paths there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I mean,
above the drivers,
there's a micro USB right here.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Micro USB. This looks like it's probably a USB hub. It almost looks like.
Yeah, so you
one of those would probably be
a direct serial connect.
Hey, Tor, look up GL.
Print over it? I don't know if they monitor that.
Tor, look up GL.
But you could program it that way.
2G.
GL85QG.
G as in God. GL825G. Is that like a USB hub? Because I'm assuming
it is 2.0.
So I was right. So that's a hub. So these ports here, this is probably
one of those is going to be the camera. The other is going to be the accelerometer.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, hang on.
All good.
So so basically the camera, we could probably just wire any USB camera.
What do you suppose? SPI or accelerometer? I2C.
Yeah, here. So the USB. So USB, you've got your green and white for the data. your power and ground. It looks like there's actually possibly a third USB port.
Wait,
here.
is this another board where they have like
No.
drivers half soldered and missing?
No, there is a component here missing. I don't know what this would be for. The funny thing is this has this. I wonder if this is. So they have little things soldered on the board here. Do you see this? Typically, you would see a metal shield around this, like an RF shield. But the RF shield's not in place. So it is running. So Scott, this might be of interest to you. Here's the CPU.
It's
some kind of Broadcom or something.
No. Oh, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, neato. It means nothing to me. Wait, what is it? Just
X2000E in Ingenic.
Okay.
X2000E. And I'm assuming this is the memory here. It said it has 8 gigs of memory, so I'm assuming that. Oh, here's SanDisk. Yeah, here 8 gigs SanDisk. So here's the memory. So the memory's soldered onto the board. So
I presume that's the Pi section there.
Yeah,
the high
this would be like the
section.
Pi. Oh, here, look at here. Hey, look at there's the Giga device.
Yeah, but then it's a GD32 some kind.
Yep.
F3. Yeah, so that's basically where we'd run our kernel. If that's where your Clipper kernel is going to run in its loop.
Yep.
And then it's getting all its commands over a serial port, basically from the other side of the board.
I wonder where its memory, where its actual RAM is for the SBC.
It's high speed. It could be direct over USB essentially. So that's fast. That's pretty fast.
Right.
No. I'm saying like the RAM for the farm.
Yes.
Unless it's
the RAM.
So this is storage right here.
Well, they're both technically ARMs, I guess.
So that's a SanDisk. That's a SanDisk.
Does it have
8 gig
a
chip.
SD card?
I'm wondering. It does not have an SD card. I don't see any slot on this board.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
What
about on the display?
One of these USB cables goes to. Actually, one of these USB cables goes to the front port on the front for the USB.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one is probably for the camera. I'm assuming one of these. One of these is probably going to the hot end here.
Yeah. It's a cool one. I mean, it's reprogrammable essentially from the Pi side. You can reprogram the STM32
Yeah, so here
side.
X, Y, Z. So, and then I'm assuming E is going on one of these. These are probably going up. What?
I'm surprised it's not like an RP2040. It might be something like it, but
so these probably go up to the hot end. So this goes to bed. I'm assuming these go up to the hot end. These two bundles here.
Okay.
One of them's probably for the motor, which I would assume probably this guy.
I see.
4-wire. And then we've got a thermistor here, and then we don't have an output for the hot end down by the other terminals. We have power in, bed out. So I'm assuming the power for the hot end is coming out on this bundle of cables here.
Yep.
I'm just looking because there is a heat header down here, which I'm assuming is for the hot end, but there's nothing plugged in here to the heat header.
Both Backwoods is saying both are USB run back to the toolhead ports.
What do you mean? One of these goes over to the front panel. And this one I'm assuming goes up for the camera. So these two are for the camera. This one is for the camera and this one's for the front port. So these guys here are going to be going up to the
toolhead, yeah.
Yeah, so there probably is a USB for the accelerometer. So there's probably toolhead board for the accelerometer and everything else.
There are two toolhead boards.
Are there? Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to look at the toolhead too.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So yeah, there was some discussion of or mention of CAN bus or some kind of serial connection to that, which was all right.
It's probably CAN bus. A lot of the Clipper stuff is using CAN bus. So the one thing I will say I do like about Clipper is its expandability to be able to combine a bunch of different boards over USB to extend and like unify all that communication between dissimilar boards.
Yeah. Now the question I have about that is like, how are the protocols working?
Well, there's one cable going up to here. We saw
you can make up anything you want pretty much. That's cool.
So how does this come off?
And
there's two screws here, and it looks like it comes off the top. One on the left, one on the right. It looks like 1, 2.
Yep. So yeah, there's some work going on in the background to get CAN bus into the Marlin pile. It's actually been hacked in before in historic times, but it's just never floated our way yet. So we're gathering all the pieces these days. So it'll happen. There's been a lot of focus on the motion system because everyone wants more advanced input shaping. So you had to hack a whole new motion system together.
I know even like
contributions.
CAN bus on Clipper is still kind of like, it's not super reliable. It works, but I know a lot of people that have had stability problems with it. All right, let's see. So those two screws,
really have
those two screws I took out.
It has its pluses and minuses, you know.
Okay,
it adds more complexity on your moving parts, which is, you know.
Okay, so it is a PWM fan.
Yeah.
So we got 4 pins here. So we got RPM and PWM. And yeah, this is USB. Look at that. And there's a Trinamic on there too. It's another Giga. Okay, it's another Giga device.
Of course.
Yep, that's pretty common. We're seeing a lot of that. A lot of stuff from FiSetC and from Fly.
Okay, yeah. So here's the USB right here. So we got
coming out these days.
Here. You see, it's got. And the funny thing is, there's an open port on here. There's a 4-pin header right here. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a 2209, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2209. And Giga device GD32F303CBT6.
Okay. So yeah, that's one of those little tiny footprint, but it's actually deceptively powerful little processor.
Yeah, it just doesn't have a ton of I/O pins.
Nope, but it's fast as all get out. They're very fast these days. Yeah, you don't need all that power, but you've got it because it's inexpensive now. It's like you can get them for a dime a dozen. I think literally now the chip shortage is pretty much almost over. We'll be able to get our Pi 5s.
Yeah. Well, they put so much glue on here. It actually pulls the whole header off when I.
That's very common, and it's not a bad idea with these types of connections, especially on moving parts, to glue them down as much as you can, but not brittle glue. Hopefully, something more rubbery.
Yeah, it is kind of rubbery.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll put it back on the orientation it came off of.
But you can always, if you don't care, you can just put some super glue in there.
Oh God!
Acetone the whole thing together.
That's the other thing too. Backwood made a good point. The toolhead boards don't do well in enclosure because that processor is going to be running hot as shit.
Oh well, yeah. You want to run in a heated chamber, then you need to. Yeah, it's best to as much.
Well, even like a ABS chamber, you're at 50C typically, without even a chamber heater. Like that's the other thing. Like it's not like it's a cool idea. I think the 8XL is the bottom left there, Tord. You see? I'm pretty sure this is like the accelerometer right here.
Later, Jerry.
I'm pretty sure. Have a good one, Jerry.
Later, Jerry. I'm pretty sure that's the accelerometer right here.
It should say like
makes sense.
345 something on the 8XL chip.
Hang on, we'll find out.
So yeah, that makes sense. And you'd want to have everything on there that you could get on there. The accelerometer, all the bits and pieces. It's a good way to go. So yeah, I can see, there's a rush to integration for this stuff, and a lot of the
so what is that?
It's getting more high end for sure. What do you got?
It's 345B.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the 8XL.
That's I mean, I know what they look like. That looks like that footprint. You can see there you got the clock and the SDIO. That's probably a programming header for the Giga device.
Yep. And the orientation matters with all of that board. So don't go remounting it in a different orientation. Yeah. All your accelerometer readings will be wrong.
So the cool thing about this, we got a lot of tech going into these printers, but like it's going to become this has a ton more failure points though than your standard printer. You have essentially a whole nother control board here on a moving part that goes very fast and is in the heated area or like the hotter area of the machine. It's not in the bottom away from the hot end heat, the bed heat, and all the heat that'll be in the enclosure when this is closed up. So like that's definitely something concerning about longevity wise. It's cool though. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of cool tech in this printer.
Oh yeah, it's really it's nice integration. I mean, overall, it's like if you could count on the electronics to last for decades, then
I doubt these will last decades.
but in a sense, it's like these are one of the cheaper parts now. Like to produce a board of that size in a high quantity is like they're really inexpensive. They're like less than $1 a board or something. I mean, maybe not for all the parts, but a couple dollars, a few bucks a board.
It does have a 4-pin header on this side on the left that's open. It's got a 4-pin header on this side on the back of the board that's open.
Yeah, sure. That's probably your ICSP header.
There's another header down. I can't really see it, but there's another header down here that's open above these two. So there's
plenty of
Hello.
That's a 3-pin. That's a 3-pin that's open. That's probably your heater or your thermistor.
Maybe so.
And then what I was saying on the other side,
room to grow. So they definitely
there.
could use this.
There's a 5-pin right here that's open, and then there's a 4-pin right here because the fan on the tool head board here, or the fan on the hot end connects here. So
okay, so
they're definitely not using everything on here.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm wondering how this attaches on here.
4-pin header, makes me think serial or programming header or something like that. But it could be, it could be powered if it's a robust looking header. Could have some power on it.
No, it's kind of a smaller one.
Yeah. So yeah,
I'm just curious to see how hard this is to take apart, because that's the other thing too. You get more stuff.
Well,
like this is way more complicated to work on than your standard machine.
Yeah, I mean, to get at things like the nozzle and so forth, that's the most important part.
Yeah,
to
those
be able to
are
service.
easy to get to.
Yeah, so that's the most vital. This wouldn't generally, unless you're a hacker, do this bit.
On.
Oh, I see. It's also cooling the electronics. Wild.
Kind of. I mean, it's pulling. Hang on. Oh yeah, it's coming through. So it's pulling from behind.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little.
I was about to say, wait, what?
Again, the integration is really. It's pretty good. It's pulling it away, and it's actually putting the heatsink on the opposite side, which is pretty neat. That's interesting choice. And is that the heatsink shared as like a double block? Like on the other side, it goes to the hot end?
Yeah, that the hot end. This is the hot end right here. The heater's right here.
That's
a silicone cover on it.
Oh, I see where it's going. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There you go. So it cools
so it looks like there's the hot end
electronic air.
There's the hot end thermistor wires. This is the power wires, and then this is going to the stepper motor here.
Yeah.
So you got
that's
your hot end.
That's some heavy copper there. That's pretty wild. I like it. And it looks like as far as the thermistor goes, is that a thermocouple then? It goes to go to 300. It's got to go pretty warm. But to be able to go at high speed, it has to be able to.
So that other thermistor I saw down in the
speeds.
So that other thermistor I saw on the bottom, the other thermistor connection, that's probably for the chamber. That's probably for the chamber. So
yeah.
So because everything's on this tool head board. So I mean, this is a lot of technology for what this printer costs. Like there's a lot of stuff because this
the
is like
copper wire is another. Yeah.
Just the enamel copper wire. Yeah, I don't like that.
Copper wire itself is an expensive part, so I can see why they'd want to move more of the electronics closer to the tool head as well. Use less wire to connect
just
everything.
one. Yeah, because they just have 4 wires, 2 for power and then 2 for data, and that's it. And then everything's shorter here. So
yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Just wires for power and wires for data, and you're all good.
Then the only problem is that if this chip gets too hot, your printer stops working correctly. Whereas with the other ones, the copper wires are not going to give a shit really how hot it gets.
Well, those sync to the board, to the copper layers on the board, and then if that fan is any good, then it should be okay.
But if your ambient temperature, But if your
Yeah,
ambient
true.
temperature is 50 something, because like here's the thing, just our Ender 3,
Yeah.
so our Ender 3
Yeah.
ABS machines with
They're
the
good up to
Bennett,
80 degrees, right?
they're
generally.
like 55 to 60 C is what the enclosures get to. So the ambient
Yeah.
temperature inside those are 55 to 60. That's
So as long
pretty
as
warm.
your chip, well, I would imagine they're not working too hard on this end. Like the GD is
Well, we
probably
could look
using
up.
like 10% of its power
We
to
could
do
look up and
whatever it
see
has to do.
what the rated temperature range is for this chip.
Yeah,
They do have
I mean,
data sheets
also
available.
there's definitely ways to and they can also run on real low power. Like it could be on like a 1 watt, or less. So
The
I would imagine
TDP.
if it's pumping out 1 watt per second or whatever, I don't know, imagine it would have a hard time syncing that away. It's more, I worry more when you have like if they move the pi onto that end, I would worry more because that gets really, really hot.
Yeah.
Whereas this thing is probably, I would imagine like these are so underutilized. It's like,
Well, here let's look it up. It is a GD.
Makes me sad. They could run a whole
Okay, so it's a
you could run a whole
GD
3D printer off that.
F303
Yeah.
CBT6. So let's look that up.
Okay.
Oh, my camera
CBT6.
screwed up again.
Yeah.
Come on, camera.
Not sure if I have any quick access to that. GD32F, something like that.
GD32 F303 CBT6. Let's see. Okay, so it's a Cortex M4. Let's see. It's the first line is designed for application with ultra low design budgets.
Yeah. Well, budget meaning, you don't need a lot of ports. You just need a few. You need a few ports.
Let's see. I'm looking at their data sheet right now. So
engineering
this is
talk.
probably the 48. This is the 48 pin, the LQFP 48.
Sure.
So,
yeah, that's that number sounds like it's got not a lot of memory.
So this is 128K of memory for flash, 32K of RAM. All right, I'm looking for the temperature.
128 to 32. 32K RAM you don't need more than that.
It's basically like the same RAM as the old Melzy. Do you remember the old Melzy boards?
I'm telling you could run a whole 3D printer off just that chip, I'm sure.
IO pins might be a problem though, because it doesn't have many. It's only 48 pins.
Yeah, we'd have to multiplex, I guess.
Yeah.
You could maybe run a foam cutter off.
I'm looking to see what I'm looking at the data sheet to see what it says.
You could run a 2D plotter
for temperature. Hang on, let me see here. Look at their table of contents.
But that's all right. Yeah, that's kind of the way that it's been going with the other ones as well, both from FiceEtsy and from FlyMaker.
Yeah, all those other ones.
Yeah, I think they may be using STM32s from ST Micro for one reason or another. But you can get away with GD if you don't need USB like licensing and stuff. There's a whole big to do about what the licensing means. It's like trying to decipher the ancient scrolls.
Okay, here.
What does the USB licensing mean when I get a GD32?
Okay, so its temperature range is -40C to 85C.
Okay, so yeah, like that's a pretty high operating range.
Yeah, that's not unusual. That's not as high as I thought. I was going to be like, oh, if it says 70, we're pretty close. Like, here's the other wild thing: those TMC drivers put out a lot of heat, and I'm hoping they have a lot of copper on that board.
Oh yeah, they sync to the board as well. Typically,
well, they're supposed to. That's how Creality has a record of using too little copper in their boards overheat. That's
I did notice they put a big heat sink on top of them on the other board.
Yes, that's because it's cheaper to do that than to give the board itself higher copper count.
Yeah, that's why the SKR, the Big Tree Tech boards have those huge copper or the huge heat sinks instead of just adding the copper.
I mean, do they have mounting where you can mount them both upside down or right side up, depending on your whim? No, I guess not.
No, these are bad. These are the ADXLs, or this isn't the ADXL. That's just the CPU, or the accelerometer, I should say. It's probably not an ADXL, but you guys know what I mean. I'm talking about the accelerometer in general.
Yeah. So this
Do you
is
think we'll
where
ever
the
see
things
accelerometer
like the
support in Marlin, Scott?
well, yes, inevitably someone will throw it together. I mean, you can basically the thing is, it's always a question of like, for all the old, how do you support it for old, like in a general way, and that's always the trick.
Just support it for just the newer printers and not the old ones.
Yeah, you sort of work backwards. You define it for whatever boards you know that it come with an accelerometer initially, and then work your way backwards to as people figure out how to connect accelerometers to older boards. It's just a question of, how do you get at your board and get it connected, and what do you connect it to, and how much of a hassle is that? And are there even devices that are sort of commonly out there, or is this just a hacker project, that you find on a website like Hackaday? Which is fine. If there's a cool project on Hackaday, I'm always happy to see that.
I will give them this. This is actually not that hard to get into and service. Like, this isn't terrible.
Yeah, no, I've seen worse.
And
it seems clean.
It's simple.
Yeah, no, they did a good job on here. My main concern would be, like, if you were constantly printing ABS or higher temperatures, like, how long, like, is this going to stay cool? Because the thing is too, like, Giga devices, they're making knockoffs of the STM chips. Like, we've been over this. So the thing is too, like, they can claim it's 85C. Will it actually last very long in the higher temperatures with a load on it? Like, that's the thing. Like, they can claim whatever they want, and Chinese companies do it all the time, where they claim something will last at whatever temperature, and they'll do this, but then it doesn't, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that, oftentimes, it typically occurs that a lot of things are like, rated for a certain period, and then there's always these ones that ends up lasting like 10 times longer than they're rated for. So it's sort of the luck of the draw in a lot of ways. We hope that on average, most of these things will tend to be the better ones and last longer.
Why does my camera keep screwing up? Hang on.
It's like anything. It's like you're betting on your if you lay more eggs, you're betting on some of them surviving eventually to the point where they create more eggs themselves.
I'm trying to get my camera fixed. Hang on. You can keep talking. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing.
Yeah, so I'm excited about the frontier right now with the we're being challenged by these whippersnapper upstarts, like of course Bamboo is coming in hot with their new bed slinger, which is I had a little bit of FOMO on that, but I think it'll be fun to sort of definitely play with these machines and review them and sort of I'm more interested in the user experience overall, of course, because what you want is sort of that out of the box experience, and like want to provide good tools for that. Like, from my perspective,
I think this has been. I mean, this printer's been a pretty good out of the box experience. Like, I'm pretty happy with this. Like, I said, I bought this. I bought this for the hardware, right? I bought this with the intention of stripping their crap off of it, because, like, I'm so tired of all these companies, like, pushing all this data collection. Like, it's a printer. Why do you need to collect my data on a printer? Like, come on, man.
Well, they have to disclose that they're going to collect any data, and then the way they phrase it may be very clumsy due to legal requirements at this point, and also bad.
They did ground this correctly,
but it's like they have to trust the lawyers and stuff they get to help them write that stuff in English. But the EU has certain requirements, and they require certain language as well. So it's very tricky to balance it all, and at the same time they want
hang on, okay,
be free to do their telemetry.
Hang on 1 second.
Somehow.
So we have one Z motor, we have an X and Y. The E is on the tool head, but is this? It looks like there's 4 drivers on this board under the heat sinks.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? You know what? There is a fourth driver. There is a fourth driver. The head just isn't populated. So hang on.
Possibly that makes sense.
Hang on. I'm wondering if it just isn't populate. No, never mind. It's not populated. Okay, so there's a fourth one down. It's just not populated. The heatsink though just covers over where that other one, so they could probably just use the same heatsink for all of them.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay,
So there may
I was
be...
like confused there for a second. Okay, so that makes more sense. So we got the CAN bus. It's probably running CAN bus. I think we'll know that once we look at the Clipper config. Once I get in here and root the damn thing.
So they're just doing it because they can, is what you're saying?
Ah,
Yeah. See what I did
I
there?
wonder what'll happen if I plug a micro USB into here. Like, will it show
yeah.
up? Like, will it power the?
Funny things will happen, I'm sure.
I'm gonna do it. Let's see. Where's my micro? Hang on. I'm gonna make USB. And
Yeah,
sorry,
you
I
do.
haven't been. Yeah, so I saw the backwards singer who's making comments about the CAN bus boards with the on the Clipper machines just not being that reliable. I think Tor, you were messing with one and you took it out, didn't you?
Keep an eye on that.
I could not get mine working. I could get it to read one of the two boards, but not both of them.
I can't get it. Hang on. I gotta take the board out to plug this in. Luckily, I got my drill driver. I don't mind taking screws out now because I got my drill driver here. That makes it a breeze.
Hey, there you go.
That's
I'm
the
kind of
$100
down with
I've
that.
spent.
I'm getting more into those like tiny pencil-sized soldering iron things that you charge on USB. I think I could get me one of those or
so the question, Scott, is could we feasibly see a possible Marlin support where it could communicate with like mainsail and stuff like Clipper does?
Yeah, I don't
I
see
thought
why
you were
not.
messing with that, weren't you?
Well, I can't do everything. I can't do everything. I definitely had that be in my bonnet, but I haven't gotten to it because I haven't.
It's a wish list. It's a wish list.
It's one of those things on my very long to-do list. Like, that's one of the things.
Because I'm also wondering
right
too how much longer Octoprint is going to be like developed for. Because I know Gina had sent a couple messages out where she was looking for, like they were talking about needing funding and stuff, and I'm sure they're getting between the Pi shortages and Clipper becoming more popular. I'm sure there are less people using Octoprint now than it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, the kind of integration that we're looking at is like, it's sort of it's just a different split. It's like you still want to have some kind of external machine for your hosting. If you really want a good, like, complete experience where you can like browse your files, preview them, do troubleshooting, like monitor and all that stuff. You want to have a nice host experience. And I think Octoprint has been around and is it's plug-inable, so it's like, and themable and all that, so it's like very versatile.
So the power light came on.
It should still be around. Yeah.
The power light came out of the board I played. I'm seeing if it shows up as like maybe is it a COM port? No, hang on. I wonder if this is literally just. Oh no, it is booking up.
So we just need to make better, and the thing is, from our side, we do both the UI side and the printing side on one board, while just the hosting is on the other board. So when you can strip away some of the UI when you have a good host, so that frees up the our side to do just focusing on the motion and G-code processing. And then, you can also migrate some of that G-code processing over to the host side. And we've done that with things like Meatpack and other things that kind of break it down a little bit.
I'm wondering if this USB is
Arc
like
welder.
kind of, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I was wondering if this USB is more of like an OTG type thing.
Yeah.
I don't even get a like detected sound when I plug it into my computer. Let me see. Yeah, no, I don't get anything. So
in general, like we have all the pieces, we have all the building blocks to create a user experience that is on par with what's being built with other offerings, except we just take a different tack and use I find we end up using more of the processing power of these boards rather than leaving it just sort of leaving it on the table, as it were. But on the other hand, what these boards are capable of, it's like it's going to heat up more and other things, and it's a question of how much energy usage there is and how you distribute that energy usage as well. And that's kind of a lot of it comes down to that for us is efficiency and less waste of cycles and so on. But how do you,
Yes,
you
it
know,
is.
measure that?
I'm willing to bet they're probably just using USB for the toolhead board, because
Most
Yeah.
likely.
if it's running Clipper, it just shows up as another board. I mean, we can take, once we root
Yeah.
it, you'll be able to look at the configs. I mean, don't they have the source code
Yeah.
posted?
Well, if it is
Yeah.
a USB or basic serial connection on that side, I mean, that's, you know, the CAN bus is essentially a serial. It's just
Hang on here. We can look and see what they're doing right now.
the
Hang on, let's
differential
look at-
pair, so it's more reliable. in
Here,
that
let's
sense.
look at their, they finally released their spec. So here, factory printer.config. So here, yeah, nozzle, yeah, so it's just USB. It's USB over
Yeah.
serial.
Yeah, it's
Or
essentially
serial
that.
over USB. So here's MCU. Here's the nozzle MCU. Oh, there's a leveling MCU. So this is probably the 80XL.
Right.
Here's the baud
The actual
racer.
hardware itself, again, it could be differential pair in that sense. So the reason for that is it's robust against magnetic interference. It shifts the signal in such a way that it's obvious, like it doesn't change the actual signal, no matter how it gets.
So the thing I'm
screwed up.
wondering here is, how do they
It's
specify this?
unscrewable.
How do they specify the second the second control board? Oh wait, here, TMC 2209. Oh, okay, here, UR pins. They're specifying the MCU here. So nozzle MCU, that corresponds here with MCU, nozzle MCU. So this must be the regular board. The GD32 is on the board, and then you got the nozzle MCU, and then you got the leveling MCU. So if I search leveling MCU, which you will see,
Uh-huh.
so they're calling it a PR touch. Oh, the
Okay.
leveling MCU. That's the one. There's probably one in the bed too. Here, look
Sure.
at nozzle MCU. This is at the CBT6, and then they have a GD32 E230 F8P6. So there's 3 ARM chips that are embedded ones, and then they have the ARM chip that runs everything. So this has 3 different.
Better to do that, right?
This has 3 different control boards in it. That's why we see on the other side here, right above the toolhead one, there's another plug that's got what looks like USB data lines, because that's a 3rd MCU. So there's
Well, damn.
so it's not CAN. It's just USB.
Yeah.
Or serial, I should say. So that's probably why it actually works. Is it's just serial.
Ballistic,
Yeah.
I've seen that as well. Mandic
Yeah.
Relay, didn't
Okay,
he
so
do
there's
that as well?
another. I'm looking at the bottom here. There is another board down here, and it is large enough to have a process. Let me take the board off. I'm assuming that's the leveling MCU. That's what's handling the little feed, the strain gauge.
Yep. Pretty neat.
Yeah, no, this is neat. It is cool. So that's one of the things I do like about Clipper, the fact that you can tie a bunch of different boards together for one printer.
Oh yeah, I mean the cool part is how you can refer to a device as just dev TTY and just talk to it. When in Marlin you'd have to go through all these hoops to create a new serial device and associate it with a function and then implement it and all this other stuff. So it's much easier to throw it together on a Pi where you've got a whole Linux stack there ready to go. It's like, okay, jump in. And that's for a long time. I remember early on we had things like the BeagleBone Black and other things that were like initially there to like sort of start to fill that niche. And we had a lot of opportunity to start utilizing that, and there were actually some cool projects.
Well, that's going to be a pain to get off there.
As far as them all like becoming sort of a combined project, it's been hard.
Yeah, so this is that second cable. So I see the USB lines and then the yellow. This is the leveling MCU. So there's this. So this essentially has 2 or 3 control boards on it. The main control board that handles all the motion. It's got the toolhead control board, and then they got a whole other one just for these strain gauges.
Yeah,
That's
check
wild.
that out. Check that out. Just with a strain gauge.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Under the bed, which is hilarious. They're like the boards like to travel. I guess they like to have them on the moving parts.
So that's the other thing too is here's the other thing. This is right by the bed, and there's no fan on this.
Sure.
So if that bed's at 100, that processor's going to get toasty.
Yeah,
that is just another GD.
That is
heat rises, but not in an enclosure.
That's
it just fills the enclosure, so it's going to be warm. Yeah.
That one, no
Well,
wonder
the heater's
people-
on the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The heater's on the. So here's your bed heater. The board's right here, and there's
Yeah.
a hole exposing the CPU. So that's someone said that those strain gauges don't work when the enclosure time's over 50 C, which tells me that processor's probably freaking out and just shutting down. Which, how could you not think of that? How
Well,
could you not think of sort of heat sink, or like there's totally room. There would be totally room for them to put the board the other way and have a heat sink and small fan underneath it.
yeah, and put just the wire headers pointing the other way,
Yeah,
back of the board.
yeah, that's
It's an interesting
They're not-
choice.
It's a Creality.
One thing,
So,
of
so
course,
here's
is, you
so here's the
know,
thing though, is you could, if we had like, if let's say, so we're gonna, I mean, I don't know, I'm gonna probably take a survey and see, and if everybody has a K1, let me know what the issues are, because the thing is too, if let's say I were to put like my ABL sensor on here, like little 8mm, put on the tool head, we could just completely not use the leveling MCU and just let it sit there dead, because who cares then, right?
mhm.
So there are, it'd be like a non-essential a thing if you had a different pro, where if you put a CR Touch or something on there. Because I'm looking in the config here, it has all the different clock and SD open. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, there's 4 pressure sensors. So in the config, it has one for each corner here. So,
Yep,
and
that's
this
pretty
is
neat.
what's cool, is we can see all the pinouts here. So you got there's pressure sensor 1, 2,
Very nice.
3, 4. So one in each corner. Yeah, so they're calling it the PR touch.
PR touch. There you
Probably
go.
pressure. You know,
You gotta love
pressure.
ionize. Right
Here,
on.
so here's the speeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's their bed mesh. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a clipper config. So
That
I mean,
reminds
this
me,
is
I
like I
need
said.
to set up our INI like that a little more.
Yeah, like I mean, this
carry
is
on.
one of the things like that's nice. They got their G code macros. Let's see what macros they have in here.
Yeah. Yep, that's
Auto
cool.
tune shapers, load material. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they got a ton of macros in here.
Macaros.
Whee! Yeah,
Yeah,
printer
it's-
config. So
it,
this is the factory
it's
Got a
one.
whole. They built out a
Ballistic
whole
tech. It's
meta system there, which is pretty neat.
3Z linked by a belt, so it doesn't have ZTIL. It's only auto bed leveling.
Yeah, no, it's just a strain gauge. It's all it is. Here's the other thing. I guess it would work, because the strain gauge is going to detect when the nozzle touches, so it could still get the mesh. I don't know. I'm wondering how much more accurate that would be versus an actual sensor reading the bed, because you're relying on those pressure sensors in each corner to detect when the nozzle touches the bed. Like, is it reading all of them? Because I'm assuming if it probes in the front left, that one's going to have a higher reading than the one in the back left and the back
Is there
right
not
and the
one
front right.
in the tool head itself?
There's
It's
not one
all
in the
in the
tool head
bed?
itself, all in the bed. So I'm wondering how good the mesh is going to be, because it's got to detect that if they're somehow compensating for that, or if it's just reading any change in any of the strain gauges equals the nozzle touched it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that may be. That could be a.
I'm
way
assuming
to do it.
some of these values are what tells it that.
Yeah, because it
So-
would make sense that you would want to just get the first reading you possibly could, even if it's
Right,
far
as soon
away.
as it
'Cause if
touches.
it's far away, then that's weird, but it's good. You get it. But if it's closer, of course, you're probably going to get it closer from one of the closer ones. So yeah, it just makes sense to average it out and say take the first, and it's all good.
I like the idea of using these at the very least, like as just a way to get the Z offset, because that's one less thing that the end user has to mess with. Yeah, my big thing is getting rid of their damn telemetry and all that other crap. So
Sure.
this is
I know.
their.
Theoretically, it's all there, but I think there actually is a closed source networking stack element somewhere in there for the. Of course, they're not going to expose their encryption keys and things like that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be in
So-
Moonraker for what it's sending out to?
Well, this
Yeah, I mean,
is
it's
this
gotta
is
be.
what's on the MC or on the SBC as far as
check
I'm concerned,
the
as far as I
sure.
remember, right?
Big
Yeah. And I mean, if you
here's
can
the
actually
config.
build the whole thing from that stack right there, then it does have everything. But presumably there is actually probably, I'm sure there's a Reddit subforum totally about how much all the
see,
steps that you
there's
need
2
to go
pull
through
requests.
to replace what are we calling it? Crapper?
Cripper.
Creeper.
Alley.
Clippy. Okay, let's see. Clippy extras.
I guess you'd want to call it Creeper. Creeper. Why did they put Creeper on here? Let's put Clipper on instead. I don't want no Creeper on my printer.
So this is for their probe. There's mentions of Moonraker here. That's the API, isn't it, Tor? Moonraker's API?
Likely.
Because you have main Moonraker basically goes Clipper talks to Moonraker, and then Moonraker talks to the front end whether you're running fluid or main cell, right? That's kind of like the okay. Yeah, because there's actually when you're running Clipper, you're actually running a stack of software. You got your front end, whether that's a screen or your web interface, and then that talks to Moonraker, and the Moonraker talks to Clipper.
Yep. And you can do all kinds of really clever things because you have a Linux stack. You can do things like, throw an X Windows on there and, run a Python app that has a GUI on it and stuff. You can do all kinds of kooky things.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're running.
Do add-ons.
I'm gonna have to go through these files and see and compare to the.
Look for their Moonraker files.
Where would that be located? What's where would that? You gotta remember, I am. You know way more about Clipper than I do.
Clipper. Right. So as far as that, it may Clippy is the Raspberry Pi side of things. That's the actual stuff that runs kind of like the lowest level, so to speak, part of Clipper that runs on the Raspberry Pi is Clippy, and that basically you do your motion commands on the Clippy side, and then those get translated into somewhat lower level motions or movements that it sends off to the main board on the printer.
Oh yeah, I wanted to see what they had for their config for the accelerometer. Let's see. I'm assuming it's going to be on the nozzle MCU. Yeah. So I do like how they lay this out. So you can, instead of just assuming if you don't specify an MCU, it goes to the original MCU, and then you can append to the secondary ones, which is nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of good consistency in the stack
here it's ADXL 345 Tor. Here you go.
That's what I thought. 345.
Yeah,
ADXL 345. So yeah,
there you
naturally.
go. So PI 4 5 6 7.
So is that SPI? Yeah. Okay. As I figured, it's just using simple peripheral interface or SPI, which is the easiest way to talk to anything at any speed. Ridiculously simple protocol.
I'm assuming this axis map is tells it where the axes are in relation to how the chip's oriented on the board.
Yeah, you can give it your names. So in other words, you could totally flip the chip and you just change those around. So that makes sense. So yeah, you just have to edit that if you screw up if you decide to reorient things or put a new head on there or whatever. Yeah, that's cool. I mean,
here's the thing: their stock head is pretty good. The cooling's good, the fan's good. I mean, here's the thing: this is supposed to be a higher end printer. I would expect it to not be just mediocre like their
mediocre.
You know what I mean? Like your cheaper printers, you expect it to be kind of this one definitely has a lot more polish. Hardware wise, I'm pretty happy with this. The big thing is there's a lot of cool stuff in here, but there's also a lot more stuff that can break. We now have 3 control boards essentially that always have to run correctly, and they all got to be in sync.
Yep. So yeah, they've
why are people messing? Why are people messing with CAN bus instead of just doing this, where you just have a second, a second board, and you just tell it here's my MCUs.
Yeah, I mean, part of it may just be the economics of printer manufacture in terms of saving. Maybe the copper wire is the most expensive component, and other wires aren't reliable, and so it's the less copper wire you can use it's everything else doesn't matter, just as long as it's less copper wire. It could just be something down to that. it's hard to say. I mean, it definitely simplifies the connection to the board in some regard. It also covers certain ground, like because these peripherals are becoming more common,
Right.
and the specs for them are becoming better understood. It's like you can whip out these boards really quickly and just throw them in there. In a sense, it's like someone else takes care of that part.
Okay, so this is just, as far as I can tell, someone correct me if I'm wrong, this is just the firmware. Well, no, this has got to have, where's their front end stuff? I'm not familiar with the
That's the question. Is it may not be that I think when you install, typically when you run the install, that'll give you like the options, and then it pulls those things down from elsewhere.
Right.
Like it'll pull down the latest version of mainsail, the latest version of fluid, or whatever.
My question is, where is their information for? Oh, here's all the bin files for the different tool or for the different boards.
Yep. So they're all
nozzle.
Bin, but I assume that's the bin for the board itself. It's already pre-built.
Yeah. So this is the one that's in the bed. Here's the one that's in the bottom, the main one. And here's the nozzle, the tool head board.
Oh, look at that. It's
cool. So they got all the bin files here.
Yep. That's good.
I'm just wondering where their front end stuff is and where we can see, if we can see the code for what it's reporting to for other cloud shit. But I'm gonna have to dig into this a little more because, like I said, I'm still pretty I can set up Clipper and get it going from default, but like we're looking into manufacturer's bastardized version of it, a little more.
You're seeing essentially it's still got the full stack. There's your CAN boot stuff, RP.
All the different other boards.
So those are boards that you can run the Clipper side on, which is just the motion handler and all that.
The question is, where's all their front end? Where's all their front end setup? Like that handles the screen on the printer, handles the web interface.
Again, I think that when you install it, it downloads that as part of the install. It doesn't actually include it in the package. It actually does a download step. So there'll be a script inside of the Creality distribution that does that part. That's just part of the standard distribution of Clipper.
I saw someone mentioning this Clipper Camp.
So there's a helper script. And then that script is basically what you'll be running. Yeah, camp. That's the one they call it.
Yeah,
that's what they call it. And it actually is pretty good guided installation stuff. It's
so this is like that other
painless
one.
Control. Yeah, as command line stuff goes, it's not as painful as some could be.
Isn't camp supposed to be the Clipper adaptive mesh and probing?
Yeah. So it does more than that, apparently.
But things like that, each time, anything you want to install, basically has a script.
It's like KIUAH, but
cow.
And it follows a similar pattern to that.
Yeah, this looks really similar. So my question is, where are they pulling their front end and stuff and their web interface front end from? Because I'm assuming they're running two different front ends, one for the screen and one for the web.
You check their
installation. Do they have a
script.
Screen firmware somewhere? Because that should have its own firmware too.
Oh yeah, well the screen looks like it's driven right from based on the pins. It looks like it's driven right from the SBC. So, but what I was saying is, in their source code they released, Tori, you're more familiar with this. Where would those files be for, like, let's say you had mainsail or fluid on here? Where would those be?
They probably download them as part of the install. Check the scripts folder,
right?
And they'll be like check like the install script or follow the bouncing.
There's a bunch
install scripts. Install Octopi, install Debian, install.
I think these are just the generic ones, though.
Yeah. So where do they get their particular
that's what I'm saying.
Version?
That's what I'm saying. Where, like, if I want to run Clipper screen on this, is that something that Camp?
It may still be downloaded, but it may be downloaded from another one of their repos. So what else? What other repos does Creality Official have? Do they have a Creality Official repo for
Let's find out.
K1? So they have the Sonic Pad stuff, which is basically that. It's going to have both of those. Of course, Creality
K1 Series Annex. What is that?
Annex. Hey, Annex. It's got a
No,
bump on
main
it.
sale, installation, on installation.
Here, I'll click it. Yeah, K1 Series Annex.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. I'm on the wrong tab. There we go.
Annex, please. Fluid
Okay,
installation
so-
and installation, main sale. So it does all that stuff. Yeah, there it is. So that's where it gets its fluids and things. And they probably have their own graphics and stuff.
Here's a root guide.
Root guide. Neat. This is how you do your root. It may lead to malfunctions, but yeah, I remember they had to go through this process of explaining this to help folks
Oh yeah, disclaimer here.
fix some things. So
Okay,
that's
so
cool.
you connect an SSH, copy the fluid folder USB, insert into a copy. Oh, so you're just copying these folders into. Yeah, so it'll go over. Okay, I'm actually impressed that they released this to let people mess with these. Like, here's the thing: I was getting really concerned with Creality getting away from like the people that got them to where they are, which is the people that like screwing with shit, and going to more of a closed off ecosystem, which would be really good for them business wise. It locks everybody in, but then they're basically giving the boot to everybody else, like myself and all the other customers that, got this where. Oh, here we go. AI LiDAR extension port. That's what this is on the tool.
Oh, your AI LiDAR, of course.
Here's an. I'm
Why
assuming
did I
this
not
is,
think of the AI LiDAR?
Okay, let's see. Oh, touch. Look at they had touch. They accounted for if you wanted to put a CR touch or BL touch on here on the tool.
Yeah, that's cool.
E-motor nozzle. Okay, I was correct. So here's the heater, the thermistor, heat break fan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's this one here. Oh, here. Do you see this filament? This is a filament detection port here.
No doubt.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So all that kind of
Does
stuff.
it wait? It doesn't have a filament sensor stock?
It's on the back. It's on the back.
It could do fancier filament.
Okay, here.
sensing
So here,
with that,
print head adapter board port, bed leveling
Like
board. Okay, so I call.
motion
Oh, look
stuff.
at Ethernet.
Yeah, there it is.
I fucking.
I knew that was
Ethernet
just from the
adapter.
So okay,
board.
look at here. This one has
Board.
Ethernet. Do you see this chip is populated here? So I'm wondering if this is the Ethernet chip. So basically, if this was populated and this was populated, you could get hard-wired Ethernet on here.
No doubt. You'd have to put a.
Why the fuck don't they put Ethernet on here?
It's Creality. Of course, they're gonna.
Oh, the
make
Max.
a board and then remove
Hey,
it.
costs
the Max.
3 cents,
The
man.
Max has Ethernet. So I'm wondering if you put a Max board in here,
There you go.
if you were able to get Ethernet.
It's
Okay,
essentially
so
the Max
using,
board.
so they're using the same. They're using the same board in each one.
Probably, yeah.
Of course.
Save on design time.
Yeah.
Repurpose. Keep. Just use jumpers and stuff. Yeah, very cool. Overall integration there. I like
See
it.
here, this has it so they could put a header or the ports. So USB.
Yep.
So I was correct. So these are USB.
Cool.
Oh, here it says right here RS-232. So it's not USB. The tool heads are not USB. They're communicating over direct serial. So I was wrong.
What do you
it's
know?
not here. Let me.
Well, RS-230 again. 232 and 242 are sort
Here,
of like
look right here. 232.
They're a layer, but they could
So-
again also be.
So here's what they're
differential
probably
pair.
doing. They probably,
So-
because I was going to ask how they're making sure that the
Yeah.
USB and the USB ports don't change every time the printer is rebooted, or based on how, because like sometimes Linux you can change it around. Like if it reboots and it brings up the stack in a different order, your device IDs can change. And then like for example, like when you have like you have multiple cameras plugged in, the IDs can change depending on how the cameras came up when you booted that time. They could change the path that they're at. But this is smart because they're doing it directly to serial. So it's actually serial, not USB, over to the tool head and the leveling board, which is that's smart. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. So they did a good job on the design of this. Yeah, so here's the MCU. Yeah, so this, I wish they called out what that is, but this is a lot of information here. I'm surprised that they have. This is what, if they want to compete, here's the thing. I will probably never buy a Bamboo printer unless they do something like this where they open it up where you can mess with it, right? So that leaves me with what? All the other Chinese printers. Creality is the only one like kind of doing more innovative things right now. So this is the best of both worlds. I got a printer I can screw with, and I got a nice, finely polished hardware experience.
And they'd like for us to, make good stuff for this board. Maybe
Yeah.
take their printer to the next level and give it a long life. Make it
So
a good
that
platform
makes
for who
sense.
knows what.
So I'm willing to bet that on the other one, this is probably your Ethernet. This is probably USB to Ethernet controller right here, or some
Sure.
sort of. Actually, yeah. That I see the little. Hang on, I see the little crab hands because it's a Realtek. It's probably a Realtek chip.
No doubt. And what's the name of the board? Creality CR4 and 4C. It's got a whole new fancy name.
It is a whole new mouthful.
It's a new alphabet.
I like to do this just in case I decide to pull it down. I like to make my own fork.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. And then be ready for the next thing.
Fork this. Oh, I already forked it at one point.
Yeah, you already forked it once, buddy. You can't fork twice. So you'll find your way. So you've already been through this before.
At some point, I went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Of messing with this because I've had my eye on this printer, and especially my big thing was it was really expensive for what it was, and I was like, But the thing is too, like I have to follow what is going on because if I'm sitting here thinking it's too expensive, other people are also probably thinking it's too expensive, so it's not worth doing much stuff until there's widespread adoption. Because I mean, like look at the Ender 5, the Ender 5, or not the Ender 5, the Ender 5 S1. Printer, that's a nice printer. It's really well built, but the problem is it's too expensive for what it is. And not many people bought it. We are not like, I kind of regret putting the time into doing a screen kit and doing like the ABL stuff for it because we have sold like 2 things. I have not recouped my time spent on that printer, and that's what we have to do is like, we have to, spend our time where the consumers are buying the printers. If they're not buying a printer, there's no point in me buying it and then spending my time doing anything with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And they have a Sonic Pad. They have a Sonic Pad thing now.
Yep. I suppose they would have to. Yeah, they want to be able to keep those updates going. I think in a way this is sort of mitigating against things becoming obsolete as well, because it costs them a lot to keep updating their firmware every month or every year or whatever. Yeah, there you go. Nice. So you're going to do the comparison, huh?
I'm going to do something with them. But next, like
you should totally convert some really basic machine to run on those those things.
And like the
Tina 2.
Like the Tina 2, that little tiny printer doesn't even have a heated bed. Just had that thing full send, printing like crazy fast.
I like the nice screen on the Ender 3 V2, so I feel like that would be a waste to convert that one. But maybe one of the ones that just has the basic graphical screen, and then it can use the low grade UI on it and stuff. Because Clipper can run one of those screens, but only with the text mode, like the basic.
Yeah.
Mode.
Oh yeah. Their support of the 12864s is dog shit. Like
it's
super basic.
Yeah, ST7920
because they want you to use a color. They want you to use a color touchscreen. Is really what they want.
Yeah, ultimately you should when you've got that stack, just use the best screen you can that suits your needs. The one with that Joe was showing off, one of the East Coast rep festivals was pretty funny. There's he had like a whole like big panel screen on it running like a continuous like logging and stuff. It was hilarious. It was all very cyber. I mean, come on, do you even cyber on your 3D printer, bro?
Right. I want to be able to sex for my 3D printer.
Yeah, you have to have animations and like neon glass panels and stuff like that. All kinds of light up acrylic accoutrements and things. Get out your laser cutter. Every 3D printer deserves to be tricked out.
All right. So, all in all, I think under $400 hardware-wise is a pretty good buy. I want to see though what we can do software-wise, and what I mean by that, I want to get Creality's crap off of here. I don't want to have to agree to a privacy policy. Like, you collect nothing. You're a printer. You process G code and you poop out plastic. That's its job.
Yeah. It's got to
cloud for you.
the thing is, we wanted to do it quickly, but also quietly. And I think that if we could, this is the one area where I'm like, if we just need noise canceling technology that can cancel the noise of the fans, just put a speaker on there that just listens to the fan and then turns out an anti-noise.
Scott, we already have printers with cameras going on them, but I'm sure China would love to have printers with cameras and microphones in people's houses with those nice privacy policies.
Again, using a little piezo sensor is hardly going to be, it's not going to be connected to the cloud. That they'll just be connected to the code that
I was just about
puts
to
out anti-noise.
do something.
Because that's a lot of data. You can't really send audio without that sticking out like a sore thumb.
I was just about to do something, and I can't remember. I will say I'm just noticing when you open this, the screw heads are like putting dents in the fucking plastic. Look at it; it's already fucked up the plastic.
That's sad. Screw heads have
right there. Do you see it?
Oh no.
Need a little TP.
Oh no! Yeah, they should have used button heads for those low-profile button heads or something. But that's still going to be
you can't win them all, man. You can't win them all.
Yeah, that's the parts that were available, man. And
all
that's
in
what
all,
you're supposed to use,
I mean,
I would say wider, pieces for sure.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, I'm pretty happy with this. I am excited to mess with this and get my grubby little hands all over it. I wish that I was almost hoping that there would just be an SD card with the software on it instead of that chip. Because I mean, here's the thing: you could take that chip, that 8 gig SanDisk chip off to read the whole structure and everything. But then here's the other problem. Here's the other problem. If that memory chip goes out, your whole board is dead now.
Yeah, that's the thing is, any of those chips go out, you're pretty much, SOL
Well,
until you get new
memory
chips.
is out of all the chips, the memory one is going to be the one that's probably going to go out first, just because
think?
I would assume. I mean, let me see.
Because of heat and whatever.
Well, just reads and writes. You have finite amounts of reads and writes to memory.
Well, not memory, not RAM per se. RAM can last.
No, this is not RAM. This is flash memory. This is an 8 gig flash chip.
That they're using for purposes of what? Because
to run the whole operating system.
Oh, I see. Well, if you're reading from it, that's not a big deal.
It's the SBC.
Yeah, that's typically you read from it to run your program, and you read the data. You read some data from it, but you don't write to it typically during most operation, unless you're writing EEPROM and you're also using it as like a substitute for your EEPROM. Which you can do with some setups, is you can actually use part of your flash as EEPROM.
I'm looking up the chip. So it's a SanDisk. Okay, it's an 8 gig eMMC memory chip. You can actually buy it from Mauser for about $10.
Yeah, so they're using that I would assume they're using that just for EEPROM, but
no, they're not. They're using that's the only memory chip on this board. It's an 8 gig chip. That's what has the OS.
The OS. Yeah.
That's the OS.
Well, that's fine then.
So that's it on the Pi. If you had a Pi, it's the equivalent of the SD card. So I'm looking at here.
But is it like an SSD basically?
It's basically an SSD. Yeah. It's an eMMC.
Oh, I see where you're going.
So its sequential reads are 170, writes are 300. So it's fast. The only problem is it's soldered to the board.
Yeah, well, it should have its wear leveling smartness on there, and generally speaking, it's like running a Linux off of
that's what I'm
SSD.
saying.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to get that. You're going to get whatever life you're going to get out of that, I guess. As long as it's 10 years, you're good, right? You're golden.
Yeah. No, I was going to look up and see what the data sheet says for like the TBW, like terabytes written type of thing.
Yeah.
So it is actually an industrial rated one, which is good.
Yeah. The thing about Linux, it logs a lot, so you got to turn all that stuff off as much as you can if you don't care about your logs.
Yeah, no, I'm looking here as to what it says for if it has an endurance rating. That's a technical term I was looking for. I couldn't remember what it was called. It does not have an endurance rating here.
And then it's going to be running some very lightweight, like Pi Linux, basically.
Okay, hang on. It says high endurance up to 3000 P/E cycles in MLC. I have no idea what the fuck that means. What is
don't you know your MMCs from your T cycles, brother?
Oh, that's program erase cycles.
Oh, okay.
So it is up to 3,000 program erase cycles. That's not that much.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's it's gonna. I mean, if you kind of like you average it out over time, what does that come to?
Okay, so
Like,
I
what is
found.
the real
Okay, so
lifetime of these
I'm
suckers?
reading here. I found another article. Someone talking about this. Okay, is the P/E cycle MLC really only 3,000 times as data sheet says? The P/E cycle some blocks up to 20,000 times in real tests, even though it says only 3,000 times. Each block is independent.
Sure.
So yeah,
typically
they're
do.
only guaranteeing it for 3,000. So each block
Yeah.
is only rated for up to 3,000 read and writes. That's not much.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, if you think about it over time, you know, like, I mean, really, it's definitely a calculation. If they can get it to last 3-5 years, you know, 10, and it holds up for that long. I mean, you could definitely put it under heavy usage and find out.
Yeah. Okay. So terabytes written is equals flash memory PE cycles times the flash memory density divided by WAF. WAF is the write amplification factor. So you can get
Right.
TBW from all those other ones.
It's pretty fascinating. So that's interesting that they've got. I mean, I know at least on the GD32 side, it's going to be running, you know, typically in the flash
They're
of
like
the GD32.
yeah. Well, the STMs and stuff, and even the GDs are like hundreds of thousands.
And then
of bytes.
the Pi side is like, how much does it really have to run in terms of like, you know, again, if you're running Linux, you've got to turn off as much logging as you can.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm getting at is this even though this is an industrial rated from like a physical endurance, from a memory endurance, it's only got 3,000 program erase cycles. That's not a lot. Obviously, that's like what SanDisk is guaranteeing. It's nice to see that they are using a name brand eMMC chip, but
yeah,
that's.
I mean, what do we got in our commodity computers like our Macs that have soldered on, you know, SSDs now?
You would have to convert from TBWs and look up the program erase cycles of the individual chips that make up the SSD. But here's the other thing too. Here's the other thing you got to remember too. On an SSD, you have multiple memory chips, and the controller does all the wear leveling where it's distributing the reads and writes. Well, not the reads, but it's distributing the data across all the different chips to spread out the load across all the chips to kind of evenly wear down all the memory at the same time, all the memory chips. Because like a single NVMe SSD may have 3 or more separate memory chips that the controller's addressing, and it's spreading out all those writes across all those different chips because it doesn't want to just fill up one chip all at the same time. It wants to put, okay, we're going to put some here, some here, some here. Okay, they're all about 10% full. Okay, we got more data coming in, some here, some here, some here. And it tries to level that out so it's not just hammering one memory chip because that will make the entire SSD fail, right? In this case, we only have one memory chip. So I'll have to see if I can convert from
one memory chip.
Yeah, it's just
it's a big one too, isn't it? A rather large. Is that the larger or is that the tiny chip that's on the board?
No, there's only
the larger one.
That's the one south. When I was looking at the board, it was south of the CPU. So you can kind of see it's you can kind of see it's like separated like on the board. You can see you got the Ingenic X2000E. I think that's the ARM chip for the SBC.
Yep, that's a familiar name.
Yeah, it is, and I don't know why. Like I've seen that. Ingenic X, so Ingenic X2000E.
We see a lot of their.
So it's an IoT app. They're an IoT application processor.
Okay.
It's actually a MIPS architecture.
It's an Internet of Things, man.
It's a MIPS architecture. It's not ARM.
It's a thing. Oh wow, that's cool.
So it's running a MIPS. Yeah, it's an IoT processor running Linux.
Yeah, that's neat.
Interesting,
MIPS, baby. Yeah, it makes sense to MIPS it. Yeah, I mean you wouldn't expect.
Okay, so here the RAM, the actual RAM is part of the CPU and the X2000E. So this has 256 megabytes of RAM. So it's 8 gigs of storage and 256 megabytes of RAM.
Yeah.
And it's got 2 1.2 gigahertz processors on it. So it's not
pretty
that
amazing.
fast.
That's
it's actually slower than a Raspberry Pi 3B. Well, 3B plus.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to do a whole heck of a lot compared. I mean, it still has to,
Yeah, it's a dual core.
considering
So, yeah.
that we can do all of this on, a typical STM32 board.
I'm surprised
without
it's not.
a
I'm
Pi.
surprised this. I was expecting this to be an ARM chip, but yeah, this is here.
Yeah,
Xburst
1.2 gigahertz though.
Yeah, with only so here the X2000E is 256 gigs or 256 megs of DDR2. Wow,
Yeah,
DDR2. That is old.
Yeah. So
this
for
is
the
not
record,
this is not that fast.
right.
Oh,
and
here,
we can 3D
storage
print
interface,
on a
here.
16 megahertz, so it's about almost 1,000 times faster than what we
this
typically
is running,
need for a 3D printer.
I know.
That's pretty good.
But the thing is, this is running a whole Linux OS.
It needs that so it can show the pretty pictures on the screen.
Yeah.
and
so
make the buttons and the sliders.
So it's got display and camera support. It's got eMMC and SPI support. Here, USB OTG. So that micro USB is probably an OTG port.
Oh yeah.
It's got a JTAG. It's got audio support. Here's all the different peripherals and stuff. This is the block diagram for the processor. 512K of level 2 cache. Yeah. So that's why we don't see RAM.
It's got real cache. Yeah, it's a real processor. It does the things.
So here, H.264 encoder and decoder.
Yeah, you need that for your 3D printing.
Yeah.
But yes, you'll probably find some of that useful for your AI later on when you add more AI to your printer so that it knows what you're thinking.
So it has a proper camera interface too, not just USB.
Oh,
yeah, here display. So it'll support up to a 1080p at 40 hertz display.
Oh yeah,
I wonder if they're using the SLCD controller for the display panel up front.
Yeah, that's very nice.
It looks
got all that logged out. Very cool.
It's got a real-time. It's got real-time clock. Peripherals, general I/O ports, 6 I2C controllers, 1 smart card.
Yeah.
2 serial interfaces, 10 UARTs. Remember we said those other boards were connected over UART? There you go. So you got the main MCU.
Serial.
Here, look at that weird baud rate. This is the weird baud rate that that they were communicating at. 3 MMC, SD, and SDIO controllers. Here, USB OTG. I'm going to wrap this up in a second here, but I'm just kind of nerding out right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. It's good nerd information. I mean, I'm definitely enlightened. There's
it's weird
all
that
of this is relevant to our work as well.
It's weird that it's a MIPS. You would think they would go with an ARM. Maybe I guess the pricing on this was just really good.
Yeah, well, again, it's it has to be what the Raspberry Pi is tailored for, as it were. It's so you can run something like a Pi OS essentially on it and take advantage of that whole stack.
So did this come out? This came out in 2005. I'm assuming if the datasheet's copyright 05, so this is an older processor.
It's a fancy one. It's it's an interesting choice. I like it. And I guess that's the thing is you really just need some Linux stack that you can run. Whatever it is. And
I was looking to see what the specs. I was looking to see what specs they have for the USB architecture. I didn't, unless I missed them. Did any of you guys see USB mentioned at all?
Per se, I guess you could look for it. It's it's a searchable.
Well, there's OTG. Oh, I guess maybe it's going over the OTG interface then. It must just be hooked up over OTG. Yeah. So it's probably it's probably just using the OTG then with a hub.
Yeah, what does OTG distinguish? How does that distinct from
over something
rather than serial?
I can't remember what does OTG. Hang on, what does the OTG?
David Williams. What are these details for? It's
on the go. On the go. Oh, sorry, it's on the go. Okay.
Of course, on the go. Yeah, USB on the go, baby. Which
I thought it was
more
something else.
Swappable
cell phone. It's for it's like what your cell phone has. Your cell phone supports OTG typically.
I get you. On the go.
No, I mean, all in all, hardware wise, I think it's a good bang for the buck. I just and hopefully people actually take me seriously. People are like, oh, you're just a bamboo hater. It's no, I don't like cloud stuff in general. I don't care who makes it. I don't care if it's
Well, yeah,
listen,
I'm with you there.
if it
I'd
was a
rather,
US, even if it was a US company,
you know,
unless you're publishing your
yeah.
source code and I can go through it, I'm not going to trust it. Like,
yeah.
that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
like
know what
being
I
able
mean?
to do things over the LAN, or even, you know, it'd be nice to be able to monitor your
I have no
print.
problem with network connection. It's when it starts calling out to a server.
But you need
that's
a,
not
but you
good.
need a, but you do need a service to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and the thing
It's
too
like
is
the
I
wider
would,
world needs a service. So what are you going to do? Are you going to
So
make
here-
this, you know, not
so
everybody can
here's the
make their
thing.
own service.
like I'm running AI processing for object and person detection on all my cameras here. I'm running it all locally though. So I have a server here
Yeah.
that's doing it. Your average person, unless maybe there's a market for this where you have just basically like a little AI box to like offload stuff to and have like an open protocol that printers can talk to or cameras can talk to or whatever, where you could have your own self-hosted thing. But then again, a lot of people are lazy and don't want to maintain a server. You know,
Yeah,
even if it's a
well,
tiny little board that plugs in. You
I
know
get
what I mean?
that. You know, on the other
Does the
hand,
hot
yeah,
end?
it's like,
Oh, hang on. This guy might
how
know
do
about
you?
the
That's the thing.
K1.
Is like, can we have? I mean, a lot of us have this concept of, you know, being able to connect to our computer from anywhere, and you could get a, you know, an app for that, and you can still do that, of course. So it kind of like the same idea as you would have one of these connect to your computer from anywhere things, where it also has a considerably good 3D printing extension to it. So it can connect to your home network, and then at that point, then you have access to all your print
So my thing is, am I going to be able? I'm going to be a little disappointed if I can't. You know, although I will. Now I have it. I have no problem hacking it. Here's the thing. I wish I had a way, without desoldering the eMMC chip, to dump the entire contents of it. So if basically I could start over, figure out how to modify and start over. So basically I can undo all stuff. Like, I guess once I root it, I could try to take a snapshot with a Linux utility, like dump it to itself and then transfer it, or even dump it over the network to like a store, like an FTP or even like a Samba share if it supports that, or even SSH. I could have it dump it to another Linux system I have here over SSH, like mount a remote directory over SSH.
You certainly could. Yeah. You know, check it out.
Because basically I want to take a snapshot of this before I start screwing with it. Because then basically if I back it up, basically. Okay, so Jonathan says the black sock is the old hot end, the red sock is the new one. Okay, so I have the old one. So Micro Center probably was running a deal to get rid of their old stock with the stock hot end setup that apparently has problems. So I guess that's good because then I can go through and make videos on fixing it and get products in. So if you guys have a K1 and there's stuff you want to see us carry, go to our website, hit the contact us, and let us know what you want to see us get in for this printer, because we got this for the sole purpose of making videos for it, showing how to fix it and upgrade it, and then also coming up with our own stuff to do with it.
And it's your first or second introduction to Clipper, doing a printer with one of these?
I've set up machines twice with Clipper. And this will be the first one where it's going to stay on it because I don't have a choice.
Well, sure.
You know,
and that's fine. You know, I mean, I'm down with this this whole new ecosystem. It's pretty cool.
Is a connector white or black for the PTID? I'm assuming you mean at the hot end side. It is black.
So in terms of like this
should be stuff. Hang on, I'm going to open up my my OneNote notebook and jot this down because this sounds like a good thing for a Help Center article of determining what what version of the K1 you have.
Yeah, need to know.
Let's see. I thought I had. Where's my brained up? Here's my brained up page. Here we go. K1 notes. K1 notes. Okay, so apparently, and I'm gonna have to qualify these myself. So black sock equals old hot end, and red sock equals new hot end.
So we got to get now. I guess we've got to forensically analyze the bamboo and see what they're made of. But there have been some good there have been some reasonably good teardowns of the A1 Mini and A1, I guess.
What was it? Vector 3D.
Okay, so basically, here's the thing. I was thinking about that because I knew there were different versions of this printer. I was thinking about if they were just unloading their old stock because nobody was fucking buying it. So, but yeah, hang on one second. My buddy Mike keeps calling me. Hey, everything okay?
K1.
No, not yet. We're about to wrap up. I'll give you a call back in like 10 minutes. Stops, okay? All right, bye.
You're on a deadline now.
No, he's everything. He's like, oh, it's not important. I'm just bored. I was like, okay, well, I was gonna wrap up anyways. We've been streaming for 3.5 hours now.
Yeah. Well, interesting.
Anyways,
stuff
I'm
going
I'm
on.
gonna So there we go. So there's my hot end here. Oh yeah, if a magnet doesn't stick to the silver lock lever, it's the old extruder. It doesn't feel like it would stick. It feels like it's something cheap. I don't know if I have a
So
magnet
it's
laying
aluminum
around here.
or
Oh, I do. Hang on, I got a new Disney one up here.
brass.
You don't have like a stack of magnets somewhere?
No, I'm not you, Tor. Oh, it does stick.
Hey, supposedly the new one then. Presumably, unless they
So
switch
you
those
guys
out
have all
separately.
you guys have all lied to me. You said I have the old one. This is definitely sticking to the
to
lever.
everything.
It's sticking directly to the lever. Come on, people. I'm gonna let the dogs out really quick.
That's an interesting test. And I suppose if it did stick, it didn't stick. That meant it was a witch.
Could be burned.
So
Well,
I'm
if
assuming-
it's Creality, so it might burn itself.
Yes, let's find out if this thing.
Okay,
floats.
hang on. There's 3 versions. That's a V2, so I don't have the oldest. So I'm assuming this is a
Oh,
steel
yay.
one versus the first one was what, aluminum? There are 3 versions. Okay, so I have somewhere in the middle. Dear
You
God.
have version 3.620.
2.3.5.6.8.7.
Well, it's par for the course with Creality.
Right?
I
It's the
should
Russian
talk.
roulette of, hey, what version of a printer do we have? I don't know. Let's find out.
Terry, it was a Micro Center purchase from, I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago.
So I bought it like a month ago at Micro Center. So here's my theory. I think here's the thing. The K1, the original K1 got a lot of bad press when it first released because they screwed up on the hot end. I think the reason Micro Center, all these places are closing them out is they have a bunch of old stock they're sitting on, and they knew people like me would be dumb enough to buy them. And it worked.
Yeah, well,
I wonder if you're still able to contact Creality and get a replacement.
We'll find out. I'm good at what was it called? One of the buddies I was talking to, he's like, one thing Prusa and I have in common is we're both really good at polishing turds. So, I mean,
make the best of a good thing.
Right.
So,
does anybody have any more questions about the K1? I'm sorry this ran off, but I mean, this is par for the course. We had a lot of fun. I'm enjoying having more people on the stream instead of just being me. What about everybody watching?
Well, I'll be interested to see how you get it to stop shaking so much. Maybe you just have to go slower. I don't know what the key is, but we want canceling shaking would be a cool thing.
Yeah, you had to fall with it. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so mine did legitimately just disengage the lock. I pushed it all the way over until it stopped.
God. Yeah. Wow. I mean, you can just put it onto a brick. Just put it onto a big stone table. You'll be all set. Do what Chris Riley does. Just put a rug on a brick and put your printer on your rug on your brick.
Well, if you guys, I don't know. So we have, what do I have left to? I have the Sobel SV05 that I have some wrap up to do on. The Ender 5S1, like I said, just because it doesn't seem to be a very popular model, I'm probably not going to do any more content on it. Just because it's not really worth it. I mean, it's at the point where I'm happy with it. So I'm either going to use it or I'm just going to sell it. But it doesn't seem like a lot of people bought that just because the price point was too high. It's a shame because I do actually like the printers. And once the touchscreen's gone, it's actually really nice to use. Yeah, so the SV05 though, that's definitely one I know a ton of people bought because they put it on sale. I think if Creality has a bunch of Ender 5S ones they put it on sale, that would probably be a good buy. I wouldn't pay more than $200 for the Ender 5S1. So if you guys are looking for another printer to mess with, the Ender 5S1 under $200 would be a good buy for it. I think they were like $400 when they came out. They were expensive for what they were.
Yeah.
But it is a physically well built printer. It's got really good cooling out of the box. It's got a nice hot end out of the box. It's got a decent extruder out of the box. It's got a filament sensor out of the box. The thing that sucked on it, and this is not just because of the touchscreen, because you guys know I hate the touchscreens. the firmware was legitimately horrendous to use, to the point where I'm going like, normally the touchscreens I can be like make them work. It's like, okay, like, I can get it, but I was like, this thing sucks. Like it's not responding. It's buggy. Like it was.
Yeah,
it was
Scott,
rough.
didn't
It
you
has
have one
some
to play with?
problems. I do, and actually, yeah, I immediately noticed several actual problems with the configuration and
Yeah.
tuning of the right out of the box. The acceleration was way too high for what it was trying to do. So my thought is like I think it would be good to keep around. We need to get a speed test on it once it's tuned and has good input shaping on it with the new motion system, especially. And because I think that's a challenge to move that amount of mass around and then to also have it be speedy. So I'd say keep it around for that big speed test when we get there.
So my buddy here actually sent me, it's a blurry screenshot because he doesn't know how to send a non-compressed file on Telegram, but I will show this. He sent me this here. This is his K1 calling out a lot. That's a lot. Like every 10 to 30 seconds, it looks like 20 seconds. It looks like every 20 seconds, it's trying to go out to Creality.
Ping, ping, ping. Yeah, it's just trying to call ping.
Like
who's this ping guy it keeps trying to call?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go in my basement and dig up. I've got some little just crappy access points. So I'll provision so I got a 5-port switch under my desk. I'll provision a port on my isolated network. I'll plug that access point into it, connect just this printer to that, and then I'm going to mirror the traffic from there to my workstation and capture a WireGuard. So we'll see what's going on with the stock firmware on there. So, because I'm really curious to see what it's doing, because my whole thing is if it's not connected to the cloud, it shouldn't be reporting. Like if I haven't linked it to my Creality account, it shouldn't be doing anything. So
you might want to come up and say, hey, there's an update for your firmware. And,
yeah. So here, this is,
so it needs
I don't know
to
if you guys
ping
know
something for that.
I don't know if you guys know who L3D is. This is Luke Hatfield. He said Ender 5 is another listen to input of what people want that didn't hit the market segment it was targeted for. Yeah. So it had, I will say, the F5S1 has a lot of stuff that I personally like on it. However, the price point was just too high. You know, it was too high for what it is. Like it was priced, I think it was the price the same as what these were, which I'd rather have this for the same price.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the machine in terms of its solid design and so forth, and it's the best you can get out of a dual belt kind of situation. But on the other hand, it's like, they just wasn't. I think they did fix the firmware. There actually is better firmware you can download for it, but we're trying to get a good tuned configuration into the main line. I don't know. You have a good configuration, so we should just work and get that together. But
yeah, and I told you, I can send you out, like we already have a case design, everything, get rid of the color screen stuff. So like,
yeah, that was the thing, was we were trying to support the screen and maybe make it better. And I'm like, nah, that's somebody else's job. Let's just replace the screen. That's
the whole thing is like, if I had the experience with those D-Wins, like from a programming level, and we at least, the problem is all the tools for the D-Win stuff are basically in Chinese.
A lot of them are,
So the problem is
helper scripts and things, but
so the problem is that the reason we just replace the touchscreens instead of trying to mess with them is, one, Creality will change out the touchscreens. For example, on the Ender 3 Neo and the 3V2 series, there's 4 different versions of the touchscreen, and they all run different firmware.
Yeah, there's D-Win
and only 2
D-Win,
Dockeye, Vue, and then TJC or something like that. We have a document in our help center.
Sort of TJC under the hood. Yeah,
only 2 of them. Only 2 of them you can actually update the firmware on. If you basically so 2 of them you can update the firmware on and use with Marlin and use with ours. Now there was one guy. There was that Mersock guy who like basically has a limited version of Marlin that he made it so you can use his firmware with the stock screen, but then you're compromising because you can't do as much until you either change the firmware on the screen or change the screen entirely. So we just opt to say, screw it. If you guys want full features, just replace the screen. They're like $30. Like it's not worth fighting with it. It's not, because I will never get my return on the time spent making firmware for every single screen Creality puts out, because they change them just enough where like I can't make a unified firmware for the screens where you can flash it on the Ender 5 Plus or the CRX or the CR10S Pro or the Ender 5S1, because they're all different enough where you need a different build for each one. Like that's the problem. So it's not worth it when the 12864s are so cheap.
Yeah, and if you have to have pre-built binaries, then that becomes a huge hassle. I mean, we're trying to make it just so you can use any screen with any board and have that be sort of decoupled by making adapters and shit in the firmware. But that's a big job because there's just so many disparate screens and boards, and every single one has to have some kind of interface documented. If it doesn't have regular EXP ports on it, you have to be like, oh, how are you going to connect this thing? You need an adapter that you can buy, off AliExpress.
Like,
and
for this one, you need an adapter with the cables flipped in one direction.
Yeah, but you'll also need to pull this one wire out and stick a header on and attach that to pin 27 over here.
I would love to keep chatting, but I do genuinely have to wrap this up.
Yep. Cheers. We'll fix all these printers. Don't worry.
Yeah. So
we'll fix them
anyways,
all.
yeah, no, I know. One last thing on the touch screen. I know Insanity Automation, he has stuff for some of the D-Wins. But again, it's if you guys have ever used it, it's very hacky. Like there's like the text is like overlaid over like images and it's hard to read. Like it's it's functional, but it's not what I would be okay with saying customers go use this, because it's just not, it doesn't have finish to it, right? It's kind of janky, but he's doing what he can with the resources he has. You know what I mean?
The Bamboo A1 screen is kind of like that. It has the text kind of hanging out.
I know. See, I'm getting yelled at. Apparently,
Krista
made dinner. So
go get your dinner, buddy.
Also, if you guys see Krista, make sure to tell her happy birthday, because she turned 26 yesterday. So.
Oh, hey. Happy birthday.
Yeah. So anyways, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for putting up with all my rants. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream.
Bye.
And as always,
new release coming soon.
Ooh. Sounds like I'll have some work to do.
I got
all right.
Yeah.
Later, everybody. I'm going to wrap this up. Take it easy.
Have
Happy holidays.
Night.